Hello and welcome to the Preseason Icebreaker here in EMEA. I'm ready, set. At my side, that's Spoo, or whatever. Okay, we're going to take you through all the action today. I had to bring down the energy just a little bit and ground myself because I'm legitimately so excited to cover this region and also to bring maps, modes, and game styles that have never been seen before in competitive Brawl Stars.
Yeah, for those of you guys who missed it in the first show, this is the Preseason Icebreaker, and as the name suggests, we're about to see something really wild, really experimental. We've, formats we've never seen before, modes we've never seen before, modes that we may never see again. We never know. This is truly experimental, and I can't wait to get it started.
So, let's talk about it. How this is all going to go down, we're going to cover the format here. Well, we start with a 4-team single elimination bracket. It's going to be classic Brawl Stars style, best of 5 sets, and that'll be the last thing you recognize about this format. Because, Spoo, we're going right from there into map picks in modes completely new to competitive Brawl Stars.
If you tune into the first show, you'll already be familiar, but for those of you that don't know, we've got 2 new features. One of them coming in is going to be the map pick. The way that this is done is that we've given the lower seeded team a first pick inside the map. They can choose one of these 5 modes you see on the screen, and they'll alternate back and forth until we've got 2 per team. And then the tiebreaker, that 5th map, it's not given to the first pick, it's predetermined.
That's right. It is going to be one map from the remaining mode that is just the default map for that mode. And I have a feeling that Treasure Hunt over here might get left for last, but I'm hoping that we get to see a little bit more of it. Of course, the final thing to address here is global bans. Each team gets to ban a couple of brawlers at the beginning of the match, and they'll persist through the entire match. Those brawlers are locked out, but these ones are going to be blind bans as well. So just keep that one in mind as we now turn our attention to the bracket. We have Humble versus Team Heretics in our very first semifinal, and then SK Gaming versus Reply Totem in the second semifinal, Spoo.
Gee, I wonder who made these brackets. I mean, they're kind of randomized, but these are really spicy matchups, man. I mean, gotta say, right? So you got Humble going up against Team Heretics. This, by the way, is the same Humble 2025 champs. And Heretics, this is a new one, right? Marco and Subim joining them this year. And yeah, joining, iChaos, the last member of Team Heretics. The rest of them pretty much left. And Humble kind of, they fake disbanded. They, did the same thing that they did every single year where they pretended that they disbanded, but, turns out they're just sticking together for yet another year, and I totally respect that. So, looking at these map picks, though, any thoughts in particular, especially looking at the order and the type of maps that they're picking?
Yeah, I love to see a little bit of Hot Zone first, but for me, that indicates an aversion to change is all. I have a feeling that we're going to see Hot Zone picked early a lot of times. Not only is it a safety, but it's just like what people feel most confident on. Though for Team Heretics to believe that they can take on Humble on this map that, they played so well on. Humble, of course, it's the same roster that is stuck together from placing second at Worlds last year. That takes a lot of guts. I don't know. I'm not a competitor here, but I would personally try to upset them on a brand new mode. But that's fine. After Ring of Fire and Super Center are out of the way, Team Heretics decided they wanted to go with Ball Hog. But I think we kind of glossed over a Super Center right there, Spoo. Seems like Brawl Hockey is second up. It's what Humble wanted to go with for set number 2.
Yeah, a bit of banter back and forth inside the chat when these teams were picking their maps. Marco was saying, Symantec, do you even know the map? Like, he just blurted out Super Center, I want it. And Marco was like, do you even know the map, Symantec? And he's like, dude, I play Brawl Hockey so much. So I'm expecting good stuff to come out from Humble here. Exciting. We've seen a lot of Brawl Hockey earlier today already. Glad to see the EMEA is continuing that streak. Seems to have some bias here on some maps more than others.
Well, it looks like our players couldn't wait to go ahead and get started, so let's talk about it. It's set number 1, and it's happening on Ring of Fire. Looks like Symantec has already locked away the Pam to secure some mid-dominance. But as far as brawlers that could still hold control into a Pam, I feel like the classic counter's got to be something like a Bell, right? There's not that great of a place for Pam to place her turret, except for that little obstacle on the left side. And if she stands too close to it, Bell is going to be a prime option for dealing with her there. We're going to get 2 picks in at once from Team Heretics. It's Poco and Amber at the same time. Poco has been such a top pick lately.
For good reason as well. Balance changes just came in, you know, I think 1 or 2 days ago, and Poco was one of the big winners of that. Kind of just a small one, whereby the supercharge rate was increased by, you know, from 9 hits, I believe, to 8 or something like that. And essentially, it's easier to charge the super. And for a brawler like Poco that's really reliant on cycling those supers, it's a pretty big deal. I mean, it's a tuning of the brawl here. What's really interesting to me, though, is that is there some gentleman's agreement going on here whereby they're not, you know, hyper fixating on the Buffy brawlers? Most of them slip through, right? And we're not seeing any of them. That's a bit suspicious. Ems is banned, but like aside from that, I'm surprised none of them seem to be hyper fixated on Buffys. Is EMEA ahead of the curve or behind?
I don't know, because East Asia seemed to only want to play the Buffy brawlers. It was Spike and Frank and Colt and Shelly all day long, and none of them have been picked or banned. It's a little strange. Draco now selected by Humble. I think that's a huge risk into the Amber and Poco. Personally, I feel like Amber is one of the best ways to deal with Draco. So this is pretty gutsy from Humble. They're, I think, putting a lot of faith in this Pam. You can also see the Bell sneaking through. One of the aforementioned brawlers when it came to the discussion of how do you deal with Pam? Well, here comes Frank, and that's going to be the Buffy brawler. So we will see one, it seems.
We will indeed. This doesn't really, you know, answer to that Bell whatsoever. They've kind of left that matchup kind of wide open here. Team Heretics, I think the setup within Poco and Amber hasn't really been seen before in competitive, and they are going to be tested here on Ring of Fire. The classic map that a lot of pro teams seem to be leaning back to. Players are swapping around brawlers. I fully expect this Frank to equip that irresistible attraction with that Buffy. It's set up for so many amazing plays in East Asia. I expect to see the same here in EMEA.
Okay, we're going to be getting into game shortly, as Humble and Team Heretics are ready to duke it out in the inaugural match of this preseason icebreaker here in EMEA. It's not on one of the wacky maps, but you just wait. Let's talk about it. Ring of Fire and Humble have gotten some range control. They're getting that first kill at mid. Boss on the right side falls to a stun from Subeam, who's taken a bit of control over there, but he's not able to compete at range with the damage of Semantic and Luki threatening him with that super.
Interesting gadget choice there from Boss, opting to go for the lance there, the knockup there to cancel out Subeam's CC advantage there, but that's gonna, you know, not give him pretty much that you know, the gadget that prevents you from dying. One of Draco's big part of his kit here. He's going to go aggressive there once again. There we go. There's that knockup there onto Subeam, canceling that first super. Now the entirety of Humble collapsing in on him. But Subeam is just so tanky thanks to Marco's healing. Managed to stay alive for as long as possible to bring down Boss, but the mid control is still with Humble's hands.
Humble doing an excellent job of just tiptoeing around this point. Now they're looking for that sweet spot to stay away from Subeam, who wasn't willing to go for the hypercharged super until the last second, and it paid off. He managed to stay alive, though does finally get taken down by Luki, but it's no matter. Team Heretics are ready to lay on even more pressure with the hypercharged super from iChaos that's soon replenished and turned into an ordinary super. Subeam's also ready with yet another super. Humble, they're doing their best to pepper Team Heretics with damage, but they cannot really get them off this point.
That's a lot of value coming out there from Team Heretics. Finally, the chunky boys at the front are going to go down, and that's going to allow Humble back inside the zone. And honestly, not too much effort there. Just Luki slowly chipping away from it. Miss super from him doesn't really matter. They're still playing on the point. But Team Heretics striking back inside the mid now. Subeam to lead the charge. There's a hypercharged super from him. iChaos with another one of his own. Going to be burning up half the Humble roster, and they're all tied up.
It's going to be a buzzer beater over here. Team Heretics, they've only got one more brawler who can move in. It's Poco. He's got the heal. It's headed over to Subeam, who cannot get there in time. It's game number 1, headed over to Humble in an extremely narrow one.
Oh, man. This is how we know that we're in for a treat, right?
Yeah, this EMEA.
It's EMEA. I gotta say, we love EMEA. I mean, we don't really usually get the chance to cast the EMEA, so bear in mind when I say that, you know, we're super excited to actually be the ones on the mic for this. But oh my god, yeah, such a close game already, and I can, you know, you can see just the difference, right, between East Asia and EMEA for those of you who watch both shows. EMEA definitely is a lot more strategic. They're playing with very clean comms, clean executions in mind.
No doubt. Humble, they're staying just outside of the zone. There were moments where they'd had like pretty locked down control for most of the game, but their percentage was not matching up with that fact. It's the way that they are playing super carefully. That's huge for Subim. He'll get to break open these walls and seriously diminish the value that Humble can get from sitting in those bushes in the backlines. We'll see a hypercharge popped and another one to counter. Lukey, what is he doing? A super all the way around the world, no contact with the Frank, and he was gonna fall anyway. It's fine because Humble can make this concerted push towards mid, but they're so far behind Team Heretics.
Big setup there, though, on the side of Humble. That hypercharged turret threat from Pam is going to be giving infinite value here. Team Heretics don't really have a strong way to take out the turret. It's going to be IKEOS that has to force it, or Semantic himself is actually going to break open his own turret. But here's Boss. The Fire-Breathing Dragon is in. The hypercharge came up, but Subim managed to sort of nullify that a little bit. But that's being said, it's Humble that's clawing back control inside the mid. Boss still at large here inside the back. Team Heretics, they finally managed to bring him down, and they're going to be slowly juking their way forward with Subim leading the charge.
This has got to be the final nail in the coffin right here. Hypercharge popped, got so much damage. Humble just throwing themselves at this point, hoping that something will change, but with Boss going down, it's looking a little hopeless. Semantic, the last bastion, cannot withstand the forces of Team Heretics, who get game number 2 and tie up set 1.
1-1 to open up our preseason icebreaker. Could have asked for a closer one. I hope that we'll be able to go all 5 sets. I don't mind watching as much as possible. Folks, if you guys are looking at this and you're thinking, you know, I have some qualms about this mode, go ahead, post it on social media, complain about it. We love to hear about it. About Hot Zone in particular, you know, like, this is totally an experimental mode, guys, you know. Nah, I'm just kidding. Beyond that, I mean, it's also about the meta and the way things are going. And right now, this Frank just leading the charge. Irresistible attraction. Now that it is a joystick, it is allowed to do additional damage. Boss is gonna fall inside the back, and Team Heretics kind of running away with this game.
They are just, what, 3 measly % for Humble so far, but at least they'll have a hypercharge out from Lukey. Marks up Chaos. It's enough damage to shut him down, prevent Marco from keeping him alive, but that next mark from Lukey is no good. He's got so much to do, and look at the distance that Marco and Subim are keeping from each other so that they don't trade that damage out from each other, and even when they do, it doesn't seem to matter. There's so much healing from Marco. Finally a kill for Humble, and this is finally their point to get in on the zone, but Subim is continuing to hold the control.
It's going to be a really difficult one to come back from this position. 73% to 25, and Humble, one by one, they're just dropping like flies. Semantic is just throwing bodies at this point. They're just so desperate to get something done, but it is Team Heretics on the home map. Now 90% up and counting. A last push is going to be coming out there from Boss, but he's not in the right form to pop that gadget, so no way to deal with Subim here. 98%, not enough. 41% now counting up for Humble, but it's going to be a miraculous defense that they have to pull off.
No, it's going to have to be a legitimate miracle. You don't stop Subim. You don't stop a Frank that walks towards your zone. Not one that cycles to hypercharges, especially. The last 2%, a cakewalk for Team Heretics after Frank paved the way. Excellently executed. Look at the support role that Marco fulfilled as well. 2 deaths, but all of that healing is what got them on the point. Folks, it's about getting bodies in the zone that gets you a win. Team Heretics get number 1 over Humble.
What a start to the preseason icebreaker here at EMEA. Okay, looking at this replay, game number 1 was really close. It looked like Humble, they managed to edge out the win because of an insane early game lead there. But then, on the other hand, the Team Heretics, I mean, they just managed to claw back, you know, the second and that third game, just changing up the strategy. They stopped putting Subim on the side lane and just said, let's go an all-out brawl in the mid. Marco's going to get so much healing on the board, and there's going to be no way that Humble are going to be able to out-DPS us inside the mid.
Wow, just what a first set. What a way to kick things off here in EMEA. A team such as Humble versus a rejuvenated Team Heretics. 2 new team members surrounding IKAOS from last year's roster. They've already gotten a set win here on a good old-fashioned mode, no less.
Oh yeah, that's why they picked it, guys. aside from being a control inside this format, leaving in hot zone is also sort of a, we just want to see if teams are given the choice between a classic mode and the rest of it, would they just gravitate towards it and try and secure that first map? That said, though, it's time for Super Center. This is Humble's map, right? They picked it, and they had a little banter about it. Symantec seemed very confident with it. I wonder what they're cooking.
Well, can you smell what they're cooking? I know that it's not going to be any of those global bans. They persist for the entire match. It's a good time to remind everyone of the format because it is brand new to all of you, and it's brand new to competitive Brawl Stars in general. Those gold bans are going to persist throughout the entire match, and this map right here is the one that Humble chose to play. Team Heretics wanted Ring of Fire. Guess what? They got what they wanted. They got their set victory. But can Humble show us how you can slap a puck around on Super Center? Well, they don't want any of these healing or movement brawlers. No Gray to TP around or hook anyone. Stu can dash around, get that super really easily and go for bank shots. And Poco is a huge enabler when it comes to running it towards the enemy side. We saw that be actually a huge problem for our East Asian teams earlier, so I don't fault them at all.
Oh yeah, first pick is going to be Crow, of all things, coming out from Humble there. So already a bit of deviation that we're seeing from, East Asia in general. It's not an instant, let's, Buffy brawler, pick brawler. Like, Shelly's not immediately going to be seeing play here. This is completely different. And I have to say, EMEA for drafts have always been ahead of the curve. So I'm not seeing this as a bad thing necessarily. I'm seeing this more as, is this the direction that the meta of this type of mode will shape up? And Crow, it's a control type brawler, right? It's the tempo controller, and they're leading with that to make sure that they're not committing to any of their sort of goal scoring brawlers down the line.
Yeah, though we've seen this sort of safe play be a problem in East Asia. We saw it only a few hours ago where a bunch of anti-tanks crop up, and it ends up being basically a whole bunch of nothing. You have good anti-tank options, you have solid damage, but those pretty pieces don't come together to make a good puzzle. I will say, Otis, been an awesome defender in certain cases. On Brawl Hockey, pretty useful. On Basket Brawl especially stood out to me. Though if Humble decide that they're not going to run anything tanky, then I think that poses a major hazard for Team Heretics. I think Humble also just don't want to deal with the whole healing idea. They've gone for Crow, which is, yes, steady control, but also importantly anti-heal, and it proved to be a pretty big issue for them on set number 1. And I think that's why they've decided to go with Crow, prioritizes the first pick.
This Charlie pick that's coming in is, really reminding me of something similar to a B in a more open map. But I gotta say, Super Center. So we've seen quite a lot of different Brawl Hockey maps so far in, East Asia. Here in EMEA, we're leading out with Super Center, and I don't think we've seen this just yet. I don't think it's a stretch to say this is the most closed map. Even though, it's a pretty open map anyways because it's Brawl Hockey. But as Brawl Hockey maps go, this is the most close one. So I do respect the Charlie pickup there. The infinite ammo thing is always useful when you wanna, burn ammunition. Just keep chucking the puck at your opponents and auto aim them down. That's a valid, tactic here. And now the Frank gonna be coming in for Humble as well.
So now the question is, what is Team Heretics aggro? Because they don't have a goal-scoring brawler. Are they gonna bring out the Buffy Shelly? Something to do with the Frank? It's a mystery as of yet. Lumi, the final brawler to make an appearance. You do have stuns out here. I think that's one of the most significant things. Folks, over the course of the day, we have been learning so much about how professional players approach this game. And draft-wise, EMEA by nature is just so different from East Asia. But from what we've seen in Brawl Hockey in East Asia, it's about the stuns and it's about the movement. This is a low movement composition from both sides, though, so it's really going to revolve around those stuns, around Charlie getting her super. Same for Frank, and same especially for Lumi.
Yeah, don't count out the Otis hypercharge as well. Could come in handy down the line. With this Gus as well, I mean, could you imagine Marco just walking out with the shield, popping it, and then trying to get a goal? Yeah, very different from East Asia. So immediately we're not starting out with a team just, diving for the puck. They're just fighting for control. This is, as we said, the most closed map. So it is, see, Marco could pick up the puck here, but he doesn't want to move it because it's actually an advantage to leave it there. It looks like, if you get that first kill inside the bin and open it up, you can immediately go for a goal. Marco! That's exactly... Oh my god, boss, did you even play this in ranked?
Oh no! It feels like Humble, they became entranced, they were hypnotized. They did a little dance or something like that. Team Heretics completely took their focus off the puck and gave them a complete bunny shot. What a disaster. They better learn from that mistake quickly.
Yeah, they just weren't paying attention here, and you know, puck control is really important. There we go, the Cocoon almost got it. Oh my god, Symantec tried that with the pull to set it up here, but they're just gonna send it in the other direction now. Now it's gonna be easy pickings for all of Team Heretics. The puck doesn't go into the goal. Okay, not enough momentum to finish that off, but pretty close, yeah.
Okay, pass up to Chaos, now banked around the bottom left. This is the hazard with Brawl Hockey, as your scoring positions are so strong. This puck is going to head all the way back, and Lukey has to waste a bunch of time going back to retrieve it. Meanwhile, Symantec on the right side is just trying to fight this matchup versus Otis. It's so doomed for a Frank into Otis. He gets stunned in the middle of that. Lukey forward! Found an opening in the goal on the right side. The defender just respawning, but Team Heretics are exploding out the gates.
Oh, nice block there from Lukey to save it. Barely almost a shot. Well, I was worried for that for a second, but thankfully that unbreakable wall stopped it there. So both teams traded out a hypercharge and the stun there to save it. Symantec's going to be able to cycle out one of his own. Goes forward, presses into Subeam, smashes him into the wall there, but the puck is nowhere to be seen. It's safely in Lukey's hands, so no goals for either teams. It looks like we're headed for an overtime.
Hypercharge ready for Subeam. How's he going to use it? The stun expires just as Marco intersected with that puck. The timing could not have been luckier for Team Heretics. It's a tied puck game at the moment. 10 seconds to go. Symantec really on his last legs, but Lukey and Boss are still keeping up that pressure. Subeam out of the equation. Team Heretics need to control this puck so they don't get scored on in overtime. Lukey is ready with a hypercharge. Super hypercharge expires, just looking for an opening, but it's no good.
A super waste there from Lukey as well. Now the puck's gonna fly in the other direction. Brawl Hockey overtime is always just an anxiety trap for both of these teams. They've got to watch the goal. Can't allow for a single opening there, but at the same time, they need to maintain the lane control. This is what Team Heretics wanted, though. All three brawlers, long range and at large. Symantec's gonna have to land this pull of his life. No, not even gonna be able to get it. Chaos brings him down, and it's just two members left on the side of Humble. Just easy pickings there for Team Heretics, but a Cocoon to save it, and it's an open goal! This is what you're worried about! Oh my word! Symantec gets an easy one across. You can't allow that to happen. This isn't Brawl Ball.
No, it's not. You don't have time to respawn. That's why overtime is such a dangerous position to be in. If your enemy has possession of the puck, then it's basically over. And this isn't even us just as commentators not understanding what it's like to play this mode. I feel like there's so much hesitation from the players. Oh my goodness, that was almost the craziest shot ever. I'm on the edge of my seat.
I am as well here. Symantec there going on the offensive once again. I just find it so interesting to look at this puck control by both teams, though. I mean, compared to East Asia, where they look a bit more unfamiliar with the mode, both of these teams are controlling it really well. You see the discipline. Look at that Marco, not just picking up the ball and just giving it back to Humble. They're trying to keep it on their side.
Yeah, something that I've... Oh, is Lukey going to be able to get that? That's a tricky angle. Looks like he just barely retrieved it at the goal line. It's going to be a stun on the Boss, but no confirmation. What? Lukey threads it through the right side. It's one on the board for Humble, and a goal that almost shouldn't have been. Just no one from Team Heretics to defend the puck in time.
Oh man, I mean, Symantec now just gets, obliterated there by Subeam's hypercharge there, which is a lucky catch there because Boss did commit it as well. There's a puck go in. Okay, now Symantec's gonna be back. Not enough momentum to finish that goal as well. But at the moment, it is Humble with one goal. Let's see how they decide to manipulate this puck. At the moment, Symantec's just happy and content to hold on to it.
Yeah, well, if he's holding on to it, then it can't become anyone else's. That is the methodology. But now it's Subeam's, and it's a wide open goal. He's just gonna take his time to line it up for a nice, clean one. If I'm Symantec, I'm scratching my head a little bit, wondering, wait, why didn't I throw that away? Right? You've given that to someone who can score on a completely undefended position. It's why even one brawler falling on your team is basically a goal for the enemy team, provided they know the lineup.
Oh yeah, it's a death sentence for sure. I mean, that's exactly why puck control is just something that I've repeated so often. Looking at Lukey, this is a nice method to, go about it. Lukey He tried for the shot earlier. This time it actually works. 2-1 for Humble. And I'm yammering here. Marco, he's not going to work again. This time, Boss did his homework.
Not so fast, Buster. Yeah, it's not going to work. Oh, but Chaos, no, doesn't have a shot. Throws it away. Team Heretics, they have 10 seconds to make some magic happen versus 2 enemy brawlers who have ways of stunning and defending. Chaos throwing his body at the puck, trying to get a Lukey from all the way downtown. Didn't even need to score. Just a little bit of flourish, and hey, maybe a little bit of luck. It is tough to get those lineups, and even the best in the world, I see them banking this puck off of the side, and we'll get some replays of that as well as we look back at what transpired in this exhilarating set. Look at Marco just immediately punishing Boss for not defending that left corridor. And then you see this score from the opposite side of the arena. Like I said, these scoring positions are so strong. In overtime, it's just over. If you don't have enough people to block the goal entirely, you're done.
It's so volatile. I mean, this is, you know, I've got so many thoughts now about this, right? Like, when I was watching East Asia, in my mind, I was thinking honestly to myself, you know, maybe there may come a day that we see this in competitive, and I could see a lot of, you know, strategic decisions and considerations come into it. But now that I'm watching EMEA play it, they're really pushing every single exploit in the mode, everything that makes this mode both equally fun and exciting to watch, but at the same time so frustrating if you're the one playing. But either way, it's ball hog time. 1-1, we're tied up, so we're guaranteed to go to a set number 4. I love to see it.
I'm pumped to see what EMEA does with basketball, because East Asia gave us a pretty good showing. EMEA, you guys, the viewers watching from EMEA, you are famed for your mechanical skill and your drafts. It is the balance of both that make y'all such a strong region. So let's start talking about those comps. We have bans in. I'm looking at Team Heretics specifically. You saw that B was banned. It opens up a free Poco first pick for Humble. I think a lot of times just if Poco is a meta brawler and B is not in the equation, then dude, you gotta go for it. What is really countering the Poco? The Crow has been banned as well. Maybe Team Heretics have a plan where they actually wanted to give a free Poco to Humble so they can punish it with something else.
Possibly, or they're gambling here because we do see a dual ban from both sides on the B, so it looks like
true.
You know, both teams may have wanted this brawler enough to sacrifice a ban. And okay, Queen's back. I know you said Princess in the last stream.
She is.
I'm gonna call her the Queen once again because she is my Queen, the first brawler of the game inside. Great meta, guys. Back it up. Buffy brawlers in the house. Shelly is gonna lead the charge here. Will they snag up the Frank next is the question now. Both of these brawlers did see great success in East Asia. We even got to see a Mortis earlier played here. And yeah, I wonder how Team Heretics will approach this. Do they want to let Shelly lead the charge, or is she more of the Clay Pigeon support?
Meg now making an appearance. Haven't seen her yet. What is she going to do here? Well, I assume punish how cramped this map is. Look at it top to bottom. We've framed it as if it were a normal map. You're missing a lot of tiles in the top and bottom, my friend. It is left to right. If you get team wiped, it is over. So how are you going to do that? I suppose you can use a Meg Super. You could use a Meg Hypercharge and the Super. It is area damage. We've seen that be a huge priority. But I'm also a bit curious as to what the defensive capabilities are going to be here. We saw a lot of priority put on something like B or Otis in previous ones. B is banned here. Okay, cool. But Otis is not, and he's really good at shutting up an enemy brawler, so they can't go for a score. You can't walk it in basketball after all, not like Brawl Ball. So it does give you a huge window to eliminate them, prevent them from scoring. 2 more picks left. Totally could be an Otis.
Could be, but Humble look like they need some sort of goal-scoring brawler. I think big HP would do. Okay, never mind. They have a different philosophy, I suppose, here in the EMEA. It is control, and I suppose that does leave whoever plays the max. I assume it's going to be Lukey here in charge of that, you know, goal-scoring and stuff. But we saw a few different philosophies approaching basketball so far. The map is small, so, you know, team fights galore will happen basically the entire game. That's why brawlers like Chester, like Frank, like Poco just instantly get a buff, because when the map is smaller, you can shove them to the edge of the map and there's nothing that they can do, right? So that's one way to play, just obliterate the enemy opposition and get a clean goal. The other is just run it down, and it looks like both these teams, they're shaking hands and they're agreeing that, okay, we're going to try and team wipe each other. It looks like it. Maybe the Max will go for a layup.
Yeah, and a concern of mine with the Roughs is that treat, the boost, the supply drop, whatever you want to call it, it's not going to last very long. Goals in basketball actually happen quite often. 2 points, 2 points, 3 points, whatever it takes to get you the win. You're going to be losing the treat each time. So it's hard for him to build up value. But if you know you have high HP brawlers, you've got Poco healing things up, you have Chester also has like some, pretty decent HP, then maybe being fed supers isn't such a huge problem. Let's see how it's navigated as we're about to get in game. Set number 3 on the way. It's time for Ball Hog.
Leading the charge there, Luki seems to have gotten an early position there inside the mid, rocking that new skin on the Max. Beautiful, by the way, and already the first kill in Symantec. Shoved Marco into the corner there, but the ball is in possession of Team Heretic. We've still got 2 defenders alive. Okay, the respawn comes out there.
Oh.
Okay, you can't do that. Okay,
Airball.
so that's not a thing. It's airball. The boss is gonna try for the score, and it gets in. There's the dunk.
Nicely done for Humble. It's 2 points up for them now. A 3-pointer would be crucial in this moment. Hypercharges popped everywhere. It's pandemonium. Marco's just trying to clear this ball to the top side. And iChaos is dead meat at the top. Luki now pops that hypercharge. Look how fast he is, but he still can't get close to the ball. Diminishes HP too much. And Subeam is looking pretty dangerous with that hypercharge super.
Oh yeah, and just, just abusing the fact that when you're respawning with that shield, there's no way to stop it. Subeam goes for the 3-pointer, and it's a good one. That's one of the harder shots to land from the center. Didn't take the easy path, took his time to line the shots up. That puts Team Heretic back in the lead.
Team Heretics now have this pressure from the bottom side. Subeam managed to blast away the enemy and stay clear of any additional damage to stay alive. Oh, he's got his work cut out for him now. Clear that ball, buddy. Get it away from them. Is there enough time to respawn and prevent Symantec? Marco, 1, 2 shots. Nope, it's nothing but net for Symantec. And that's game number 1 headed to Humble.
And that's the 3-point interaction you talked about that even independent of the super, if you're at just the max range of that circle and, the hoop is just coming towards you, you can get a 3-point in. So those corners of the map are just so dangerous. Now, folks, whether you think that's fair or not, that's up to the jury to decide. We'll think about that in the future for sure when we're looking at these modes. But man, okay, that's the first time we've seen that interaction, and already it's 1-0 for Humble.
Well, it looks like we have a bit of an issue with the spectating, so we are going to delay for just a second here, folks. Unfortunately, we're going to miss just a bit of that game, but we can play it out in our minds. You don't have control over some of these things, is all I can say. But hopefully we don't miss too much of the action. Humble, they led with game number 1, and so I can only expect that Team Heretics gets their head back in the game for game number 2, maybe? I don't know. What's your prediction? I want to know what chat is thinking, especially about the new modes that we're seeing.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of mixed opinions so far, and even after East Asia, there was a lot of thoughts going around. But EMEA is probably one of the more vocal regions as well, so expect to hear a lot of that and look at that on socials later on. But at the moment, yeah, imagine the game in your mind going on right now. My prediction of what's happening is that in my crystal ball, okay, wow, the Shelly Super is coming out there, but oh no, the ball is not in their hands. They can't get it done. Yeah, I mean, fun thing about this map is that there is a little cheese you can do. If you just pocket the ball in the corner, if you blow up that little thing with a Katara super or something. But okay, just expect it. So Humble did get that first goal into place, and now with a nice speed there, it's iChaos that gets mulled down there. Team Heretics trying to desperately defend here, but they just can't get anything done.
Buckets for Boss. Makes it 4 points for Humble. Just one more score is all they need. Subeam, as usual, is looking menacing with this super, but he's not a one-man army. It's a team effort. Marco is getting this supply drop down. His lack of damage is going to be a bit less of an issue, but into a max, Luki's already weaving these shots like that's no issue. He needs to stay away from this Meg, though. He can't really dodge the onslaught, this barrage of shots that she has to offer, and he's doing his best just to play mid instead.
Prejudge there from Marco, throws it out up north there. Just wants to collect it back for himself, probably for the stat boost there. But they're trying to cycle the ball over to iChaos because he's the one in a prime position at the moment. He's gonna pick up that little booster there, but just bear in mind, they've got 15 seconds left and they have to get at least 2 goals to tie this one up. Here we go. Now they've got the timing there. Marco can't flop this up, gets that nice goal in, but only 8 seconds left. 6 to the name. Luki, he just took the ball and it's just like, yep, it's over, guys. You call it, guys. Wow!
Yeah, just a self-score,
really?
Why not?
Really, Luki? Really?
Feels a little unnecessary, but I'll let it fly. That is Humble going up 2-1 with a victory in basketball. That was Team Heretic's selection on map, and it makes a second consecutive set win for Humble.
And bear in mind, it's kind of scary. This is Humble winning on, you know, not their map, right? Like, this is map 3, which means this is Team Heretic's map.
Yeah.
That means that the next map is going to be theirs. They're in a position now. Basically, they've stolen the map, think of it that way. And now Heretics are going to be in a really bad spot. They need to win on Humble's map if they want a shot to go to the 5th map.
I love it, man. I just love how much the format, of course, you know, self-aggrandizing here because you and I are the ones who came up with the format. But I love that you're able to say, yeah, but this is the map that they picked. This is the map that they wanted. And they were bested there. Now Humble is venturing into comfortable territory. But is it really comfortable? I don't know. Do you think they scrimmed, jumped to conclusions? I would wager no. But it's time for Present Plunder. Let's get into it.
Okay, jump to conclusions, Present Plunder. There's a missing jump pad in the screen, I think. It doesn't look symmetrical to me, but yeah, I'm sure there's a jump pad somewhere in this map for sure.
Darn.
Bear in mind,
yes, it is symmetrical.
Don't worry, Reddy.
I'm sorry, guys. My map, I forgot to like Photoshop in another jump pad. You wouldn't believe this, but when this map was first put in the game, there was not a second jump pad.
Pretty much.
Yeah, there is now.
Let's not jump to conclusions here about who's gonna win. Because, haha. Let's look at the bans real quick. All right, Miko, Modus, and Crow here. I mean, we're seeing pretty much 3 assassins here. The mobility, though, that's, I think, what they're really respecting here, which I think is interesting, right? Like, help me understand. I don't get what's the point of going these sort of mobile-based brawlers. I suppose it just gets you to the other zone the other present fast enough, and that always puts you as a threat on the board. We see double Crow bans, which means Crow must be pretty good in this mode.
Well, okay, so here's my thought. Usually you would need a brawler like Daryl or something to be able to super in and then be able to super the present back out. Same thing could go for Melody. Well, now everyone gets a jump. You don't need to have a gadget. You don't need to have a super. All you need to do is use that jump pad and have a super ready, and you can super that present over the water, or even better, over the wall, and no one would be able to stop you. This is the nature of Present Plunder. It's what I love so much about this mode is the team play. Get that present out of there. Move it down the field. Let's move those pylons and get a touchdown at the other side.
Yeah, so far we've been seeing a lot of diagonal versions of this map. I mean, this mode, Present Plunder was playing East Asia. Now this is the first map that just straight up, top to bottom, right? It's vertical, right? So it's sort of the shortest possible distance mathematically for you to, set up these two zones. And that's gonna, I think, create for a much faster paced game. As you mentioned, you've got team play, you can control the center, passing it around. What I am curious though is those jump pads, right? Is that meant for offense, or is that meant to, because it's pointing at, the enemy?
Oh my gosh, sorry. I'm breaking character a little bit here. Thank you so much, Emoji Shrug. You're absolutely insane. 200 gifted subs is ridiculous. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. I can't dwell on it too long because we got to get back to the broadcast, but thank you so much, man. Okay, let's talk about it. We had a couple picks come in just now. Basically, the Mongoose and the Serpent, the natural enemies, Shelly and Frank. Frank's such a strong brawler in the meta right now. Same goes for Shelly, but Shelly is so good into the Frank and always has been. Now, do you see someone dashing in, someone sneaking in, someone who has multiple supers at the same time, Spoo? Because I see a Melody that wants to get this all the way to the other side as quickly as possible.
great structure, I think, coming out from Humble there. I like this, especially there. I mean, Rico does great on this map, I think, in particular, because any map that basically has this type of wall structure always allows Rico to just control it. I think that's why Team Heretics, they picked up 2 brawlers that can kind of, you know, break past it. And now with this Stew, if he goes with that second gadget, the one that lets you break walls, it's a third one that will deny Symantec as much value as possible. Team Heretics, this is their last shot to, you know, come back in this. It's a single elimination. As you said, there's just no do-overs, and they are on set point at the moment. Can they make this comeback? So far, we've seen this Frank is an X factor for them. Is that going to be enough for them to break into Humble here?
A question that will be answered in due time as we're moving into game right now. Let's get it, everyone. It's time to hold our opinions to ourselves. That's not the name of the map. Maybe we'll jump to conclusions instead. And you'll notice that both teams can equally jump to the enemy side. Important note, because the map image didn't show it.
Oh yeah, I mean, no one's gonna be using it at the moment. Luki's gonna be going in there, touches the present for just half a second. But does Lil Bro know that you can't dash with the present? Yeah, he knew. We knew as well. I mean, it's still a great mobility tool to just stop him from really getting there. So at the end of the day, it just still looks like Team Heretics are in control here. Symantec is gonna try to test his matchup. Does Shelly beat Frank in the modern meta? I like to think no.
No, not quite. So now let's break this down a little bit. Where is Luki going? He's a little timid to make a move. Okay, and as I say that, he springs into action. Present in tow, but no movement. Symantec actually was ready to be passed the baton on the left side, but thankfully Subim was in the perfect position. Symantec with the fast forward. How often do you see that gadget used to such great success? And he's running wee all the way home.
He is back home. Nice and safe there. That's going to be the first present there, stolen there by Symantec. Team Heretics and Team 1 to equalize. But Luki's already carved the path of his own on that right side. And with the hypercharge move speed, he's going to be trying to get out here. Trying to get that super pass. No, he's going to be using it. You can't really super pass the present anymore. I think Luki might have forgotten that. Symantec going to be trying to reset the present. He gets it here. It's protect the president here. And Boss is in charge. Just going down, lasering back Team Heretics. And that's going to be all she said, all she wrote for Humble to get this first game on the way.
Oh man, are Humble gonna keep us from going to treasure hunt is what I want to know. Are we gonna get some excellent excavations in here? It's looking pretty efficient operation-wise for Humble, as they've managed to not just get their highest mobility brawler to the enemy side and back, but also their anti-tank, one of their core defenders to the enemy side. Symantec now finds himself going on the offensive, and he'll be moving around the left side. Luki also trying to advance in a pincer maneuver, but Marco and Subim are perfectly tailored for defense. On the home front for Humble, iChaos is threatening to jump in, but he doesn't have a TP to get out, and he didn't really have a move if he jumped right onto Boss. But here it comes, the TP in, and the backup plan looks good. He's got Marco and Subim covering for him.
Oh yeah, you can't pass the present anymore, and it's gonna be staying on the side of iChaos there. He's gonna drag out the present back home, but that's exactly what Dimensional Doors was for. Now we are seeing a little bit of a unique thing though. When you're extracting the present, you lose a bit of tempo. One less brawler on the field, and Humble's gonna be able to try and exploit that. Luki tried to extract the present out. Symantec's gonna be running straight in there. The flash forward there to dodge Subim, and Symantec just outplays Subim. You're okay! 100 HP left, but there's no way he's getting home, right?
Well, he's got a hypercharge, he's got a lot of speed. Marco's gonna have to chase him down. Symantec manages to get rid of that present. Yeah, he's got that super to cover his tracks, but where's the help? Is he able to run all the way back? You've got to be kidding me! The heals are off the charts for this guy, but with no present at home, Marco is keeping this set alive for Team Heretics.
That is wild. That is absolutely wild. And, you know, both teams now, they're holding the presence hostage. It's a stalemate for both teams. There's no way that either of them can score. Now that they've dropped the present, though, I don't know if they can still pick it up inside the base. Is it a complete reset? Is that how this mode works? Well, I'm not too sure. It just seems like team fights in the mid now. Both teams are going to be trying to recreate that. It looks like the stalemate protection is on board. Both presents about to go back, but Symantec leads the charge. A big super to just delete one. Oh my god! That's how it works? That's how it works? Really? All that casting was for nothing?
You know, folks, I'll tell you this much. We're introducing new game modes because we want to see how pros play it, and we want to know if it's ready for competitive. I don't know if I agree with that so much, but it is a neat quirk of the game mode.
So just to explain exactly what went down there in that split second, because the reset timings of the both presents are different, I believe.
Yep.
And it was Symantec that was the first to lose possession of it. Inevitably, when it resets, you know, there's no way to stop it. But then the other thing is, while it's in the zone, you can't pick it up. And that's what allows for this unique sort of glitch to go down, whereby there is a situation where you can set it up. So this is what's supposed to happen. Like, Humble are supposed to get an opportunity to fight for this present and make sure that they can't score in this game. Heretics is going to score. But yeah, or not. I mean, okay, they are going to score. Yeah, okay. So they did score after a bit of a delay. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a neat quirk of the mode. I'm also not sure if I agree with it.
No, and that's what this is all about, folks, is to have the best players in the world basically be our little guinea pigs for our evil experiment. Make them play these modes and tell us, are they ready for competitive and what needs to change? Yeah, I think we noticed something that's got to change. But now that everyone knows this is a tech that people can use, holy Symantec! This guy's firing a buckshot left, right, and center to protect that precious present. But Marco does get the better of him. Boss can attempt to fire around the side. Marco's going side to side to stay alive. And with that tighter spread of shots from Boss, it seems to be a little bit easier for him. Whoa! Teleports behind you. Nothing personnel, kid. But iChaos still can't get onto this present.
I love it. Teleports behind you. Hypercharge versus Hypercharge here. And now Luki's got one of his own. Starting to count out these notes, but it's, a Frankie can't really get to Symantec. Is going to jump to conclusions here. Gets into the back. Tries to extract the present. It doesn't fall in the right direction. iChaos and Subim even committing a teleport onto Boss. Ooh, he wasted the super there trying to get it. And meanwhile, on the other side, Marco is on extraction duty, steals the present, but Symantec's here to prevent it. Subim now gets the present instead. Transfer of that present successful. Luki is going to be the last bastion here to try and stop it. Subim just pops the hypercharge. Team Heretics! Team Heretics is what Marco puts out in that emoji. And it's going to be 2-2. Team Heretics tie it up and bring us to a set 5. What in the world are we watching?
I can't believe it, but I'm here for it, everyone. Humble and Team Heretics are going to set number 5 in our first semifinal, and that is just something special right there. I want to see a replay of all of this as we also get to look at the stats afterwards.
Oh man, I mean, this is the first moment, right? I think that we got really excited here. Symantec, just running the presence back home, and then Boss just, clearing the way for him. And then here we got Symantec. Is this just Symantec real? Come on, really. I mean, I know we love the man, but okay. Where's the part where, here. So that reset and a score. Like, there's no way that Humble could have stopped that. Is that a feature or is that a bug? Let's, put it in the comment section below. We'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, I think it's a thing that happens that if you presented it to a dev and you're like, hey, so by the way, if they both walk into the zone, then like the last person to walk into the zone kind of gets to win, so it becomes a game of chicken. And they're like, oh yeah, that's a little odd. Okay, yeah, we'll change that. I think this is something that'll be changed if we see present Plunder given the Brawl Esports treatment, let's call it. But it has made for some really interesting gameplay, emergent gameplay as well, and it's gifted us with an advancement on to set 5.
Gotta say, I mean, the dev team's gonna, definitely be scratching their heads. Like, if they're watching this, they'll be thinking to themselves, well, we implemented that feature because we wanted to make sure that as I said, like, hostage situation where both teams just hold the other present hostage and it's a stalemate. It's like, you go play 2 versus 2 while, like, we've got this present because someone has to hold the present so it doesn't respawn, right? So, if both teams have basically a brawl at home just holding the present to make sure it doesn't respawn, then it ends up being a 2 versus 2. And then, in a 2 versus 2 where the last brawler can still shoot from base, it's actually not possible at that point. It'll be a stalemate, basically. So I think the devs wanted to make sure that couldn't happen. And instead, then you had this intended feature whereby now there's a way whereby there's a sort of, think of it as a game state where the game, you can't get a comeback anymore. Yeah, we're blessed though. That's put us onto another potential to watch this wonderful mode. We saw this once earlier today inside East Asia, and You know, Ali was the star there, but this time Humble, they've already banned it out. Maybe Humble knew that they would have gotten this far.
Okay, I actually think this is a really cool mode, though. Treasure Hunt. Let's explain how Treasure Hunt works, because I think a lot of folks who primarily watch competitive Brawl Stars won't be familiar with the stuff that's not in comp. So you see these little zones, the ones on the left and the right. If you stand on it for long enough and you stay standing on it, then a little star pickup will appear. Now, it's a pickup. It's not just granted to your team, so an enemy could, in theory, steal it, and we have seen that happen earlier today. Now, if you manage to control both of those at the same time, and you're picking up the stars at the same time, yeah, you're going to win much more quickly. First team to 10 stars is the winner. And now you have your explanation of Treasure Hunt. It's a different sort of area control mode. We've got Shelly as our first selection here from Team Heretics. We saw how deadly Semantic was with this brawler earlier. Expect nothing less from Team Heretics.
Oh yeah, they don't want to deal with Semantic Shelly again, and I think iChaos wants to showcase that, you know, anyone at the pro level should be able to play a good Shelly because of the fact that it's the first brawl in the game, right? That's a fair assumption, except it's not true because a lot of people don't practice Shelly, and you know, it's rare. I mentioned this as well. It's rare to see Shelly inside the competitive scene, but every time we do, it's such a treat to watch. She's a really, really interesting brawler with all this potential to chain, and I'm glad Buffies have temporarily put her back on the map. Now, Meg though. Wasn't really impressed with her in Ball Hog.
Yeah.
You know, but gotta say, I mean, it's an era control mode, as you mentioned, and Meg does provide, you know, both of those, you know, capabilities of control and a bit of beefiness just to stand on that star.
That's what it's all about. And hey, when she dies, guess what? Boom. Extra life. You are not fully dead. You are still just a little Meg that might be Shelly food, but you're there, and it could be useful. You can always get that super back, provided the time. Chester now rears his ugly jingle bell covered head on the side of Humble. He'll be able to throw some bombs down if he gets lucky. You should be rolling the dice to get those bombs since they are so useful, and should just be generally good for punishing any sort of aggression, stuff that gets up in your face. That is what Chester excels at.
It's kind of like, I wanted to say it's the better Shelly, but now that Shelly's got a Buffy, at the moment Chester's been demoted back again to, you know, just Chester. But it is, as you mentioned, like area control brawler, up close and personal. When you get that hypercharge, it should be a guaranteed kill. And yeah, Mina though slipped through the pool this entire time. Both teams didn't really value her up till this point. And Team Heretics, it is an area control mode. And they've got like two brawlers that are, I think, excellent for defense, both the Shelly and the Sphinx. And Mina is going to be the one that's most likely thrown onto the offense to compete for the opposing point.
Mina has been global ban worthy in East Asia, and we saw the one time that she was picked, it snuck through to a final set, and it was basically the defining brawler of the success of the team that played it. Because she's so good on defense, she's so amazing on offense. What you have, the movement, and then you have the ability to stun so many people on defense. Heck, use it on offense. I don't care. But she has the defense, and yet she's able to bring it to you. It's defense to go. Close range combat at a wonderful price. Now, Humble have decided they're going to go for a movement brawler as well. Really paramount here because you do need to apply pressure to the enemy side. And Stu should be able to dance in and out of Shelly's range. Finks also, he can avoid a decent chunk of that damage. And the same goes for Mina, who a lot of times can have trouble hitting those shots because they're single shots.
Interestingly though, EMEA seems to not have a focus on stealing the stars. They look like they want to play fair and square here, so no Colette, no Ali. I mean, Ali was taken out, but there's a lot of brawlers who just die for it. I guess in this case, Luki could be the one, and okay. We're starting things off, and look at both teams kind of managed to get a successful offense going on both zones, but it's Heretics that actually get back on the point faster thanks to that Mina move speed, and so it's going to be a 3-1 lead for Heretics to start things off.
Semantic clears out that left zone. He gets to push up just a little bit, and the further he pushes up, the better odds he has of pinching the right lane as well. Boss can kill two birds with one stone. Ooh, missed the first shot. Thankfully, Semantic here is on cleanup crew, but he forgot something crucial. You still gotta stand on the zone, bro. You're at a disadvantage right now. Just pop in quickly, and yeah, there we go. Activate the zone, get your star, and keep moving. But he could have had another star if he'd stayed on that zone just a little longer.
Very interesting here. We're seeing 2 versus 2 on the right and a 1 versus 1 between Symantec. They're barely gonna get it. There is that little form advantage that you said there. Meanwhile, the team fight on the right, Luki's zipping and zapping inside that hypercharge. Should be able to snag up that star. 5-5 now, and Humble has evened it up.
You can't hit what you can't see. His hands can't hit what his eyes can't see. That is the Stu mentality. We're dashing back and forth with a hypercharge like Luki. But look at this. In spite of all the control that Humble have had to offer, Team Heretics are still relatively tight on the star count. It will be another star snagged by Humble in spite of Team Heretics trying to steal it. One more for Humble. Any zone will do, left or right, they're all the same. They still spawn the stars that get you the win. Team Heretics have no options left. Move in or die, and they pick option 2, Humble. Go on to match point.
These kind of asymmetrical modes, the moment there's a little bit of advantage for one of the teams, it just creates a game state whereby in theory if you just kept tying up the treasures from both sides, then essentially one team will win. And I think that's just a feature of these maps and this mode so far that I'm observing. That said, though, tactically, we are seeing Team Heretics switch things up. They're going to leave Subeam to be the sole defender there on that side. Now they're putting both Marco and iChaos to desperately try and claw some control away from Symantec. But long term, though, does this Stu just beat out the Shelly inside the zone? Does Luki eventually get that point?
Surely eventually, maybe Shelly catches him mid-dash, but you're going to have crazy predictions or reactions to be able to stun him. Maybe slow him down with Shell Shock. Are you running Shell Shock? Are you running Band-Aid? Subeam's got to be pulling out all the stops if he hopes to succeed in this. So no Shell Shock, it's all Band-Aid today, and that's the win that they needed on the right side. Humble also will see Symantec demeched on the left side, but Marco cannot afford to continue that interaction. Luki and Symantec will be allowed to persist on the left lane.
And the timing also seems to matter here. Now Team Heretics, they managed to pick up their zone a little bit earlier. So we're seeing some slight asymmetry here. Subeam, nice gameplay there against Boss. The old Shelly beating the new Chester there. Hypercharge not going to be good enough. The poison will take him down. And it's now Humble just closing in on Team Heretics' point. But iChaos not conceding that so soon. Just wants to get Symantec out. And a big shell shock there from Subeam. Pushes Symantec off the point and managing to save the star for themselves.
It's getting close. Real hairy. Neck and neck on the star count. But Boss has the bomb, and Marco falls. iChaos wants to punish. Luki is really evasive. No dice. No final shot on the Boss, and Luki and Boss managed to stay alive. But only 2 stars. That's all Team Heretics need to survive here. If they just keep control of this rightmost zone, then they will win.
They just need to defend their own point, and it looks like Humble, they're fully aware of that. They know there's no time. The calls out from Symantec. Hypercharge is going to be going up, but a Hypercharge there from Marco as well to respond. Can't get the super in time, though. Symantec swats down Subeam, tails control of the opposing point, and it's now Team Heretics that have to fight desperately for control. Boss is already onside the point. iChaos can't reach it in time. That's going to be it. Humble are going to knock out Team Heretics from the preseason icebreaker. And in clinical fashion, I must say, they really understood this mode really well. Have they been scrimming it? Nobody will know. But a wonderful showing there from Humble.
Whiteout for Team Heretics. They're snowed in and no passage to the grand finals. Humble will plow through. Excellently executed by Humble. They gave us a tour, and hey, credit to Team Heretics as well for bringing this one all the way to set 5. We got a true tour of every mode that the preseason icebreaker has to offer.
Yeah, look at some of these replays there. I mean, I don't know already. What do you think? Honestly, I'm looking at this. So in East Asia, when we saw this mode, it was all about the steals, right? But now in EMEA, it looks so tight. It really feels like, as you said, like Hot Zone Redux, but it's Hot Zone, but just tighter, right? I like the previous iterations of Hot Zone 1.0, where there's sort of runaway mechanics. Like if you control one zone and you got a single point ahead, you could literally just AFK and just steal it the entire time. This seems, prolonged. There's time for comebacks for both, but gotta say, 0-13 not looking too good.
No, unfortunately. I really thought this was going to be the game-changing brawler, and there were moments where like a slight adjustment could have made all the difference, gotten a kill. I don't know if you can fault iChaos for this, though. iChaos is such a phenomenal player. If he's going 0-13, it's just a hopeless situation, basically. I don't see any scenario where this guy would go 0-13 in a reasonable matchup. So it hurts for Team Heretics to go down like this, you know, lackluster showing in the final set. But they gave it their best. Excuse me, they gave it their best shot. And hey, to be fair, they didn't want this mode. Humble didn't want it either. It just kind of happened that way. But nonetheless, folks, that sums it up for our very first semifinal. Up next, we're going to be going to SK Gaming versus Reply Totem for our second semifinal. And then after that, we'll be going to the grand finals once we've determined a worthy opponent for Humble. Folks, don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back after a quick break to set up our second semifinal. Welcome back, everybody, to the Preseason Icebreaker here in EMEA. We just finished up our first semifinal. And Spoo, I think it's about time that we, get into the second one. What do you say?
What do you say? Who have we got next, though? Before we get into that, let's dive into the bracket. Just recap real quick. We just saw Humble take it 3-2 against Team Heretics. It was an absolute banger to watch. Got to see all 5 modes. But now, it's SK Gaming versus Reply Totem. And this is post-roster mania, by the way. So this is all the new rosters that have been, leaked, shown, trailers, teased. So yeah, we've got Noe on the side of SK Gaming and Joker on Reply Totem. It's 2023 all over again.
Man, what a generational run that Reply Totem had back then. And we could talk all day about it. In fact, you know what? I feel like we'll be talking about it all match anyway. So let's just go ahead and get a move on into the match and how it's going to pan out. A reminder, everyone, the way that the format works is teams get to take turns picking maps from a specific pool. The 5th map is just whatever mode is left over, and a default map is selected from there, and then the teams get to select some global bans that are banned for the entire set. So what do you make of this, Spoo? We're starting off with Brawl Hockey, surprisingly.
I mean, surprisingly or not at this point, yeah, it's a Totem pick. I mean, Totem were the ones, this 2023 version of Totem, now, here in 2026, don't know if this is like every 3 years we'll see this version of Totem. That might be a trend that comes in. But yeah, Joker is back. And Joker is back and leading, this Totem roster, after going around the world to find a player to sort of replace Joker. It turns out the best replacement for Joker is Joker himself. They pioneered the methodology behind the modern way to play Brawl Ball, right? The structure of having, always one control, one tank, one mid. That was started by them back in 2023. And here in Brawl Hockey, well, let's see if they pioneer something new.
Okay, well, if there's any constant in Brawl Stars, it's that Joker is going to be their mid, and he's going to be hyper-aggressive. And look at the choice of map. It's Slippery Slap. That wasn't supposed to rhyme, but it just kind of ended up doing that. Now, this puck is really easy to access. My question is there a lineup that gets you to the puck quickly for a cheap gold right off the bat? And I'm willing to wager, yes, there is one. I'm looking at that bumper kind of off to the right side near the home side, or even towards the top right. Total gimme spot if you can hook things up over there. So it's going to be a high priority to get in between.
Ready?
Spoo.
Ready. Look at the bans. Ready? Okay, never mind. SK don't go for it. But look at the bans and tell me which Buffy broken brawler is let through, and let me know if you think the debut will happen. Nah, that's right. I mean, is it okay? Is it too open of a map to go for the M's? SK seem to opt to think that Max is a bigger priority on this map, but I think it is putting Totem in a weird spot, right? Because Max M's was a thing, and this is the Buffy M's we're talking about. It's the boogeyman, guys.
Oh my gosh.
Like I know M's got nerfed, by the way, and even after the nerf, the numbers are just out of proportion. Half a second of invulnerability is a big deal. Yeah, so I wonder if Totem's gonna go for it. No, they're just gonna go for the Meg and Shelly. They opt to go for Shelly instead. Okay, bit more versatile here. Now it's back to SK Gaming whether they want to pick that up.
Okay. Could it be the M's? M's would be so deadly here. My concern, though, is Reply Totem going to respond with something like a Mortis? Of course, M's has way more counterplay than she used to. If she's using Hype, which she pretty much should be using the Hype Star power, then she's going to become invincible when she uses her super. She has also the Caustic Charisma. When that's popped, it'll combine. Now, she does also have the Friend Zoner gadget that should push people back really far. There it is. I mean, Spoo, you saw this coming from a mile away. You literally saw the bans and knew this one was going to be picked. And let's face it, it is really, really strong. But combined with the Max, you have to know the draft is going in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, who's drafting for Totem? I wonder. But they've got to have this in mind. They should know at this level that Max M's is a pairing that you just cannot let it slip away. And in a mode like Brawl Hockey, where yes, it is about that puck control, but nonetheless, when you've got the most overpowered brawler maybe Brawl Stars has ever seen in existence. I'm not, guys, I'm an M's main, but I'm not like
I love
hyper
M's,
glazing the brawler because of that. But it's really just this is we've never seen such raw power ever in Brawl history. And you know, Totem have to have a counter for it. Is it really Amber though? I'm laughing.
Gives her range.
Just, like it's fizzling out a bit. This is Totem's map, by the way. And did they forget M's, or is this something that we're just not seeing?
Look, you have Joker at the helm. I trust in Joker being able to remember that Ems is a huge factor here. So I don't think they like forgot about it. Worst case scenario, they were like in a bit of a trance with the global bans being a new thing and just sort of got accustomed to it being banned or not playing it in scrims, because realistically, it will always be banned when you play a competitive match. But let's see, it's our first time seeing it this weekend in the preseason icebreaker. It's going to be Naui piloting the M's, this new addition to a successful last year SK Gaming squad.
That's right, Joker going up against his old team here. He's got possession there of the puck now, which we've spoken day in and day out. It's really important. Going to be passing over to Mauro there, who just bangs it off onto the other side. Gives up possession, but that just frees up one more brawler to go on the offensive. Meanwhile here right side though, Mauri gonna get a death kill there, but Ope already found the angle.
So what it's about, knowing the map is so vital. And Reply Totem picked this map. I'm a little surprised that they're getting off to such a slow start. Now he's in position to receive a ball, just needs to clear out that goal on the left side. Isn't able to do so, got really close to Joker and didn't get exactly the wall peek that he wanted. Now it's 3v2, but here's the speed, and SK will be able to repressurize. That puck is going to bounce back towards Maru. A little bounce shot over towards Mauri. Tricky angle. Joker has the possession now, but he was so focused on getting that puck that he took incredible damage from Ems and lost his mech.
Yeah, Maru now's going to be trying to deal with that Noe there, but Friend Zoner to push him back. The revamped one as well is going to be doing extra damage to him. Yoshi might tick down for this Amber. That's why he's just kind of running it down here. But SK, they're playing the puck control. They're just you know, trying to throw the puck back and forth to their base. Now we see a hypercharge come up from Ope, giving it over to Yoshi, throwing it over the other side. But this Amber Super not connecting with a single brawler, just Ope there, he caught at the tail edge.
Here's the M Super. Now he gets a takedown. Joker, the last one remaining. Ope needs that shot over to Yoshi. What? He got out of the way and let that one intercept from Reply Totem. That is a total misplay from SK Gaming. They are still up by 1 goal, but they would have much rather been up by 2.
Noe that's still leading the charge, though. Too slow from the hype is doing so much. But Maru, did he find the shot? No, he didn't. It was straight into Yoshi's hands, and that's now going to be transferred over to Ope, who finds a second goal. Could have been a third, but it is only 15 seconds left for Totem to come back. And I don't know if it's mathematically possible to score 2 goals in 10 seconds. I guess we'll find out. 8 seconds left. Noe knows that he has this one in the bag. That just runs it down, denies them as much time as possible. And yeah, we'll give you that one. It don't matter for SK. That's going to be game number 1 going to SK Gaming.
Little participation trophy there for Joker in the end. An inconsequential goal, but at least it puts a little bit of wind back in their sails, knowing that they didn't get completely crushed in that last game, but we're going to get right back in and break down why it is that SK Gaming were able to get off to such a hot start and not even on their own map pick. I think a lot of it has to be owed to Naui and also Reply Totem getting basically puck hypnosis. They're so focused on this objective that they're walking directly into shots from Naui and sacrificing their entire health bar to do so.
Yeah, they're burning supers as well. I mean, Joker just went for that one. You could save it there, and you could argue that Meg charges super really quickly, so it's okay to go for these low percentage shots. But, you know, I think when this mode gets a bit more refinement and it's played and explored more by players, they will know exactly the timings to go for these plays. And right now, though, it's SK almost getting it in there. I don't even think puck possession was with them, so it wouldn't have scored. This is a nice angle, though, to just kind of corner the puck in your side. I think Joker managed to find a little lineup there to save it. That might be a good defensive resource down the line.
Ope now in possession of the puck, has the resources to use his super when he wants it, but doesn't have the asset of a teammate on the left side to make that real viable. Yoshi now popping an enemy in the cocoon, soon to emerge, and now he's like, yeah, you're dead. You are turned into hypercharge and supercharge for me. It's going to be the hyper pop for speed and the possibility of invulnerability, but still, now he falls in the midst of that invulnerability. That was a really confusing interaction. We can touch on that later, but Reply Totem maintain their score at 0-0.
It seems to be a control versus control matchup for both sides. They're controlling this puck really, really well. Mari tried to super that one in, but Yoshi's right there. No respect there for the defense there. I'm not really sure about this whole wasting super methodology that Totem are playing here. Now a big pass there onto the side of Ope, but you look at him. He knows that there's no way to force this one and doesn't press the issue there. But Maru, though, he does. Just throwing his body over there, barely trying to defend the puck here, but it looks like inevitable that SK will get to it.
Really, really tricky for Ope to try and get multiple hypercharge canisters to Naui, so Naui is just now getting his hypercharge. Would have been wonderful for him to have it earlier. That's a huge pass to Yoshi. Interception from Maori, and the goal is saved. This puck, though, is moving out of control. SK Gaming just now recover it. Naui in possession, wide open goal. Why not run down the clock in the bottom left corner? It's technically possible for Reply Totem to score a goal here, but it's so unlikely. 3 seconds to go, snatched by Naui. And no goal. It's SK Gaming with set number 1, not even their own choice, and they still secure it.
Oh man, I mean, Totem, what were they thinking picking this map and then kind of leaving? You know, I could have drafted this, and I'm not even player anymore.
Whoa, casters.
We would have seen this coming.
Casters shouldn't talk about the draft.
I'm just saying, this Ems thing is a problem. Noe got the easiest star player of his life there. He kind of turtled on the back there. And I think on the side of Totem, as you mentioned, they got a bit, you know, tunnel vision there on that puck control. Like, he really, really just wanted to go for these tricky shots, and they seem to, you know, overvalue the speed of that super shot. And I don't think that has changed since the inception of the mode. It's not like the puck gets any fast. It's not like, you know, the puck goes extremely fast with that super, enough to blitz past an obvious defender. So, I mean, looking at the kills and the deaths, also completely in SK's favor.
Okay, so here's my take on all of this. Honest mistake, they forgot about Ems. Because nothing on this composition screams, yeah, we got to address the potential Ems. Except for Amber. I understand the Amber angle because you should be able to keep Ems at like some decent range. You should be able to burn through the Charlie Spiders. Amber is a well-known Charlie counter. But look at that. It had like second best stats on the team. Joker, of course, staying alive. Got a bunch of healing, actually quite a bit of damage as well. But this Shelly just did nothing for the team. You're not playing into any tanks. It was picked quite early on in the draft, and this was a total outdraft by SK Gaming, but I'm tempted to say that Reply Totem outdrafted themselves here. I think that they are capable of better.
Oh yeah, I definitely think so. And hey, don't you love this, dude? Here we go, welcoming Pierce to the BSC and welcoming Pierce to the new roster of Brawlers. He makes his competitive debut here on the Preseason Icebreaker on El Classic map. And what do you know it? Well, SK Gaming picked this map. They picked this map, and so definitely they're the ones that, you know, should have a better idea of how to play it in theory. But yeah, Ring of Fire is a classic map that every single EMEA team should know at the back of their hands. We got a bit of Ems phobia going on here from both sides now. Double Ems ban, double gray ban.
No, please, not again.
Both sides. Yeah, they're like, no gray cheese and no Ems. They respect it enough to ban it even on Ring of Fire. And I don't even think it's that good of a map for her.
Yeah, I think pretty much Reply Totem are a little traumatized, and they didn't want to find themselves in a position where if SK Gaming left Ems unpicked, then they would feel like they had to pick it as first pick, right? Because Reply Totem has first pick. Now, SK Gaming, they're going to go with this Pam. Pam, it's something that we saw played earlier. Humble employed it on Ring of Fire. So, how will it work for SK? They've gone with the heals, and they've gone with the anti-heals, taking away one of the elements in Reply Totem's playbook. I think if there's like a sort of Bell approach here, then it's going to be tough to hit the Crow. Of course, that would be a little redundant now that Pierce is already part of the squad. So Pierce, I believe, should have some problems hitting that Crow since he's just so quick. He's so elusive. Should be able to benefit from the Pan, though. She's not particularly fast. and should be standing in about the same area most of the time, so his piercing shots should be quite useful.
Interesting Juju selection going to be coming out there, but I think the best way to explain this is that they needed something that can deal with that Pam turret, and I think Juju from the bushes can kill the turret, and that's a big thing for them. I mean, there's a little bit of water on this map as well, so there's some sort of play that you can make, you know, go invisible from the grass, get onto the water, get a slow going on inside the mid, and that's going to allow for very big damage to come up from Pierce, who, for those of you guys who are classic players not really familiar with this new brawler, Pierce is one of the highest DPS snipers that you'll ever see because he's got a really interesting mechanic whereby you can regain ammunition by picking it up on the ground, but he doesn't reload like a normal brawler, so it kind of changes the way that you approach your movement as well. And looking at SK Gaming, they rounded off with Shelly. They felt like they needed more damage to do with the Frank, and Shelly is going to be the woman in charge for that.
Okay, now what's her like royal status going to be though, Spoo? I need to make sure you're consistent here.
Empress. Because
okay, that's not consistent, but sure, that counts. Because you kept on saying that she was a queen. I said she's a princess, and now she's the empress. She's completely asserted her dominion over the map. With Ope piloting the Shelly, I would actually expect as much. But he has been pretty quickly prioritized to be forced out of position. Joker and Maori surrounded him and pinched him out on the right side. Oh. We saw Naui going really aggressive for some reason, and I'm not sure if I quite get it.
I think he's getting pinched out there by Maru from the mid. The Frank just slowly eeped into the position there. Nobody taking a fantastic amount of dodges up against that Pierce though. And now, Juju in the corner. Joker's gonna get the first Gregory online. I almost said the new brawler Gigi instead.
Gigi.
It's gonna be a bit annoying there for the side of Ope. Maru now getting sort of ran down by Yoshi. Okay. Noe helped him there a little bit. I think we would have lost the interaction otherwise for sure.
Yeah, just remember everyone, if a Crow is supering, stand directly under him the entire time so that you can respawn faster and get all of your health back. You think that was the math right there? Well, Maru has respawned, come back, and he's being sent back to his home base, but only to return with a vengeance. A hypercharged super pops it immediately because they need some momentum ASAP. He can even break open this area on the left side that's being used as a turret spot. Really well done, and the turret has been executed. Now he's going to have not as great of a spot to place his turret. It'll be placed out in the open on the left side where it's exposed to Maori, but it should have enough gas in the tank to get them to the finish line because they are leading, or rather they are capable of bringing back a lead.
Oh my god, Ope! Just eating so many of Pierce's shots, piercing through those walls. Those are auto-aim shots from the automatic shot that Pierce fires off, by the way. So eating a whole bunch of that by Ope, but it's back to Totem in charge there. Maru leads it there on that left side, just using the bulk of it, and now the whole Totem just, you know, using that superior health advantage. They're getting even the hypercharge onto Joker, and they secure that point. Both teams going blow for blow on each other's maps here, and Totem, I like the draft here a lot from them. The Frank's getting so much value, buying so much space for the team.
And and also, like, you know, gotta be my fault, hand up, not a chance of them bringing that back. SK Gaming, they're just way too far behind. The control was out of control, I would say, for SK. As soon as they lost that wall, there was no way that the Pam was going to work with her turret completely exposed. We'll see lane matchups over here. Joker attempts to take Yoshi on the right side, and it's a 500 health differential, which Maori cleans up. On the left, Ope is right on top of Maru, lays a couple of shotgun shell blasts into his face. Turn that into hypercharge fodder to break open the walls on the right side to diminish the value that Juju has to offer. This is a way better start for SK Gaming.
Quick push there from Joker, though. Looks like it was telegraphed by the team's positioning there. They kind of searched for altogether, gave away a little bit of that. They couldn't get max value out of that. Great shots there from Maru, though. Getting quite a amount of substantial chip damage onto it. Ope's going to blow up this annoying wall there. And there's the hypercharge plus an extra couple buck shots there just to keep the rest of Totem back. They're buying fantastic amount of space there for the rest of the team. Noe's already claimed 52% on the zone there. Yoshi gets another kill onto Maru on the left. This game is going all SK.
Not a chance for Reply Totem to bring this back, it looks like. Yeah, make sure you attract the Shelly with a super into your face. It was going to need more team effort than just pulling the Shelly by herself and trying to get this one done solo as a Frank. Yoshi attempted to get some big hypercharge value on top of Maru. Didn't really work out that way. but it doesn't really matter. SK Gaming were ahead by such a large margin that they will be able to take this game and equalize the set score.
Every time I say that I like someone's draft, Ope just steps up to the plate. And Ope is one of the best Shellys in the world. I gotta add.
Yeah.
I mean, he was playing this brawler before the brawler got buffies at the World Finals. So respect to him here. And apparently no respect from Totem there for not banning it out and allowing him to have it. Confidence for sure for them here. So even Steven's game so far, 1-1 for both sides here. It's Joker that they're a little bit worried about that, but look at Ope. Ope's on the hunt. He's like, I'm not slowing down.
Gimme.
I'm going straight for heck. Give it to me. It's off screen and Maru's dead.
Ope is hungry. Ope wants a Frank.
And Ope gets what Ope wants. He's rushing directly to the source of Supercharge and Hypercharge, and he's all boosted up. He has used another super, but he's got to have that Hypercharge on the way. Fast forward up to Joker. Another enemy dispatched. At least Mary will avenge his fallen teammate, and without the anti-Frank strat, SK Gaming are being crunched into a super uncomfortable position. But here comes the Enforcer, the sheriff of the old town, alongside Colt once more up the right side. Nope, no gas here. But Ope's been a menace.
He has been a menace. I mean, he went off to the right side a little bit there. I can almost hear Noe calling, saying, do you see the Frank in front of the team? We need you to come back here. And that's where they've reset the position. Now Noe's got this hypercharge turret down. Massive value. You can see an entire 2,000, 3,000 health in shielding. And because it's in the central position, they do need to just, bunch up together and just make a big push to bring it down. Otherwise, SK is just going to run away with so much value here.
SK Gaming, they're neck and neck with Reply Totem. They had such a rock star beginning. Could this be it? The beginning of the comeback for SK. Well, now he has fed an additional bit of ammo to Pierce. Not really any matter. Ope also keeping tabs on the position of Maru. He's just going to pop the Hypercharge. Says, I'm impatient. No, but gimme. Pops right in for the fast forward and ends up getting blasted away. Maru and Joker will remain alive, but it's been such a huge distraction that Naui and Yoshi have stayed on that point just long enough to bring it up to 100 and send us to a set 3.
2-0 in SK Gaming's favor, mind you. This is their map that they picked, and I gotta say, with that last pick Shelly coming in, even though they did concede one game, they managed to find the equation. And it has to do with, I gotta bring back the accent you did there. Ope saw it. Look at 314 and look at 10.
Ope gets what Ope wants.
No, seriously, he knows precisely what his objective is, and he goes and he seizes it without any regard for humanity, for life, for anything, for Reply Totem's desire to make it to the grand finals. Nothing. One more set. That's all that separates SK from a grand finals. And another meeting with their arch rivals, Humble.
Gonna be insane for sure. Man, press W on Shelly. It's just the way to go sometimes. And I love the fact that the moment that you saw SK Gaming's plan falling apart was literally the same moment where Ope is like, oh, big value hypercharge super on the right side. And then Noe's like, bro, Frank, come back. We'll deal with the Frank. And as soon as they did that, they're back on track. And I think the math was good there. Here on Ball Hong, though, are we going to see something similar, or will Totem give some respect there to the Shelly if they want to go for the Frank once again? Nope, no respect there. But here we go. Banning out the M's. I gotta immediately assume that they're second pick as a result.
Okay, first pick. Who's it going to be? SK or Reply Totem? Let's look at these picks and bans. Well, the bans primarily. There are no picks to look at. But the M's has been banned by SK Gaming. Kind of tells me that Reply Totem has the first one. Meg is their choice. I'm going to say it again. Wasn't too impressed with the Meg in the past. She has gotten like good survivability. We saw it on Treasure Hunt. That's the only area where she made a lot of sense to me.
Gotta think, is this a meta thing? Like, EMEA really seems to like Meg. not really, you know, yeah, I think leading out with it sort of makes sense. It seems like a safety pick. Like, it's not bad, and it does fill the role of, like, you know, tanky mid, tanky brawler in a small like ball hog. But yeah, you know, it's not like what we saw in East Asia where immediately it's like a statement pick comes out.
Otis making an appearance on the side of SK Gaming. That's the anti-tank, and it's the anti-being able to throw the ball, okay? Because you can't do anything when you're muted except move around and do so helplessly. And we've seen moments in East Asia, I recall specifically, especially because Otis was picked basically every set of basketball there. Lots of moments where a goal was defended simply because of an Otis super, not because of the damage, but just because it muted them. We'll see SK Gaming with the Chester. This one was used by Humble to great success. A big priority for the blue team, it would seem, since Humble was also on the blue side. But I digress. No relevance here. What is a response from Reply Totem? They're addressing a potential tank last pick. SK Gaming have cleared the way for this one with a couple of anti-tank selections for the 2-3.
Tell you what, it's not a Poco for sure.
Yeah.
Global banned here by side of Reply Totem. That's why we're not seeing it at all represented in this set. And I think that's a big feature, right? Like, this is exactly why global bans, you know, were a thought in this format that they wanted to look at, you know, just see how these pro teams would approach it and see what the structure works. Now, Stu gonna make an appearance here. The one benefit of Stu inside Basket Brawl is that you just get so many supers. And that's going to allow a lot of 3-point potential. So you can think of Stu as a brawler that if you have control of the map, it's always going to be a 3-point goal. And I think that's a big advantage in basketball because it reduces the total number of goals from 3 to 2. Big changes there. We did see in previous series that it is pretty important if you're going to go for a 3-pointer that you don't waste it. Throwing away super, just such a big commitment in a mode like this.
Last selection for SK Gaming. Into the Shelly, a brawler that has been tremendously troublesome so far. Lola, interesting. Just raw damage at range. You look at Pierce capabilities on Reply Totem, you see absolutely nothing. It's not a good matchup for any one of these brawlers, actually. So I absolutely have to commend SK Gaming for this selection. It's not a typical area where Lola would be played. Usually you see it on something like Bridge Too Far, for example, when it's not countered. And now we're seeing it here on Ball Hog, of all places, in Basket Brawl. But I have to say, once again, it's not countered. So it may be a really intelligent selection.
Yeah, it's a very Pedro draft, if we're going to be honest.
Yeah.
It's a very classic Pedro draft here. They really like control, and for a mode like Ball Hog, if you're playing in the old school mentality that you're not just instantly trying to get a score here to pass that Joker onto the side of Maru, he's just making the assumption that his Joker can get this one. There's the 3-pointer as we spoke about from Stu. Great ball control there from Totem.
Totem had the tools in the toolkit, but they haven't been able to get a set win just yet. It's a solid lead for them here on their own map selection. They were beaten at their own game earlier. They seem to have gotten a grip now. A pass over to Joker, who has that super pass. Alley-oop over to Maori. Buckets! Excellently done by Reply Totem. Pass it around the world. That's called teamwork.
Assists all around from the side of Totem. That was 3 supers they committed to pass the ball across the map onto the safest player there, and they found the angle, and even that it was a nail biter. I believe like the brawler died while the ball was midair. That was amazing from Totem. Maybe they are truly just gifted in ball-based modes, but we're gonna have to see if SK have anything to do to refute that.
Joker with the super pass to the top side. Back to Joker. That one's called a pick in basketball. What was this passing? Here's the 3. Maori lines it up and sinks it. It's 3 points for Reply Totem. This is them in their element.
total domination there and understanding of this game mode so far. And I think even in the matchups, they're kind of winning here. A bit of skill diff there that we're seeing. The Shelly just being able to dodge up against Ope, shove him against this smaller map there on the wall. Joker, though, gonna eat a stun there from the Chester, but it doesn't stop him there. A pass across there. Joker wants to clean up the last player, but can't really secure the ball. Mari, though, almost gonna make it. All right, is this ball gonna be enough? What? And it goes in! 5 bounces. That's not the world record, folks, but that's gonna put Totem back on the map, getting them a set of their own.
What an efficient set. That one was gone in a flash. I mean, you could hardly play a ladder game that fast. Okay, well, let's look at the few replays that we have, because this one was gone in the blink of an eye. It was a 2-pointer from Maru to finish that one off after a series of passes. Then Maori with a sequence of bounces that basically had me biting my nails, wondering, is it going to go in? And here are the stats, everyone. That's how quick it was. 2 and 3 KD for Yoshi. Look at reply to him. Here's the winning team. 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 3. Ope went 2 and 2, 0 healing. No time to explain, no time to heal. We've got balls to put in the net. Yo, can we change the next map to basketball?
Oh my god. Yeah, it's like, hey, I think, guys, folks, basketball, do we need... Wait, basketball originally was 10 points, right? Like,
it was a lot more.
They scaled it down to... Yeah, I remember it being a lot more, but yeah, that's an interesting thought to have. The stew mechanics... Okay, in all due respect, right? I mean, I love SK Gaming. I love the graphics, but I don't think this was it. I think they got gapped on all 3 lanes, and there was just no way. If the map was bigger, it almost feels like SK's comp could work. Like, I think Lola needs more time to slowly build an advantage. But here, Totem, they played with their HP so efficiently. I mean, yeah, all 3 bowlers died, but they managed to pass the ball and, score it. Like, that's something that has to be considered. That's going to buy us a new map. We've never seen this one before either. Yeah.
Okay. Hidden in plain sight. It bears a strong resemblance to the other treasure hunt maps that we've seen in that there are 2 zones, and they're split by some crap down the middle. I'm sensing a theme here. But here's what's special about Hidden in Plain Sight is that middle is a bush. Now, I don't know if the bush is really big enough to properly conceal anyone's position. You should be able to check it pretty easily. So that's just my analysis of it so far. I see it more as a decoration that can be passed through from left to right, and it should create an interesting sort of east versus west dynamic while still permitting the usual top to bottom that we see in 3v3 Brawl Stars.
Have to point out once again, in terms of map pick order, this is SK's map. Right? So they should be the ones that have this mode studied and looking at the bans. They ban out the alley. We saw that to great success in East Asia, stealing so many of those stars from the enemy zone. I mean, he threw bodies at it, he died, but the fact that you claim the point is just such a big deal here. Those kind of like suicidal plays, so to speak, right? Like you have to just die for it and die for it, but it achieves the objectives. Now, SK, they're going to lean back into this meeple. Looking at this PAM, they're not too phased. With the way meeple will play on this map, I can see it in 2 ways. It's close enough that meeple's mansion is going to come in handy to just block off an entire lane and maybe just zone someone out of the point.
Okay, I can totally see it. Also, just placing that super down at mid, really valuable. Now, do they go for a meeple comp? Something that pairs well with it? Do you see a Hank, for example, some kind of thrower has to be waiting on the sideline as a final selection? Throwers are just one of the best ways to deal with Pam in general. Could be something like a Larry is one that I think about a lot. You pair up with the Frank, maybe you decide, okay, it's time to go Barry, actually, and keep the big man online. Now, Reply Totem have a couple of picks of their own to anticipate this kind of thing. Maybe some wall break could be helpful to them. Colt is completely viable and on the playing field at the moment, but there are other ways to do it. You also have other supports that have been quite popular, like Ruffs, though I got a shout out. Way more popular in East Asia. Shelly is the flavor of the day for both of our regions so far, and she fulfills the same role that I was talking about with Colt. Breaks down the walls, has good matchup into these brawlers on SK Gaming. Shouldn't have too much trouble into a thrower once, of course, she gets that first super.
I think Colette's not a bad shout either here. That would weaken the matchup there against Meeple. Not sure if Totem will really want to dedicate 2 brawlers to hyperfixate and make this Frank's life a living hell. It is a menace, but yeah. So they're going to go for the Gray instead. This will sort of be a little bit of tech there, assuming Yoshi on this Frank is going to be selecting Irresistible Traction. The Walking Cane is always going to be able to cancel out those Frank supers, but you know, in the modern version of Frank with his hypercharge, honestly, it's not that important to, have your, what's it called, noise cancelling active.
Sure.
You just pop the hypercharge and just run into the zone half the time and just, buy a whole load of space. So, overall, I think having this Grey TP on the side of Totem, it's a good, like sort of tech that they have, but I'm not really convinced on the damage front.
Okay, well, here's the Cord. And what is Cord here for? Well, he can just remove that Shelly from existence temporarily, of course, and that'll allow the Frank to flourish. The damage that Pam has, the damage that Gray has, they will not be able to hold a candle to what a buffied up Frank with Sponge and all of his health ordinarily is able to offer when it comes to standing on an area and staying alive, just not dying for extended periods of time, we'll put it that way. It's about to enter set number 4 of this match. It's a map selection of SK Gaming. They chose this one over Present Plunder, contrary to every other team in the preseason Icebreaker series so far.
Already we're seeing Ope on the hunt. It seems to be a trend here today that Ope is playing a lot of brawlers that, well, go on the hunt here. SK Gaming lead out with the first 2 stars of the game. Okay, we're going to call them treasures, right? The first 2 treasures of the game are going to SK Gaming. But now, and now that they have that little tempo lead, they can just constantly just commit onto either one of these zones, and if they hold control, that should be sufficient to win. But Dimensional those are online, as we mentioned, and that's, permanently one zone that, is always going to be a problem now.
Okay, TP in from Joker. Now he's doing his best, but Joker actually can't reload the shot in time. Now Maru even steps in and becomes more food for Nowi. We'll see Ope also push things back. Wants to stay behind Maru. He might be able to respawn back here. No, not possible. Nowi fired off all of his shots so quickly, but Maru stays alive thanks to the amount of HP he boasted. And Yoshi, despite his best efforts, is probably not going to be able to knock much off of Maori, so he has to shift his attention. Ope, fighting at a range disadvantage, is in a bad spot on the left side. Nowi on the right, facing wall break, facing being pulled out of position. Will get a kill, but is going to be dead at the hands of Maori. Reply Totem only need 1 more treasure to go, and it's going to be the right one most likely. SK Gaming, no, it's over. They're throwing in the towel and reeling it back to prepare for the next game.
My jaw is kind of on the floor right now, looking at this Gray. We've seen Gray in Hot Zone, right? We know it's disgusting. Have we ever seen Gray in, I don't know, what is this mode called? Treasure Hunt? You set up 2 zones. There's 2 zones. You set up 2 TPs. It's a straight teleport from the base, and there's basically like, who needs Ali and Colette and all that math when you literally have an instant way to steal every single time? And Joker is gonna, he can't be denied. He's running over to help out on the right side now. He will get the first super eventually. So SK look like the way that they have to play this one is they need an obscenely big early game lead and then map control if they have a shot in this one.
Okay, methodology for winning noted. Reply Totem, can you apply it? You have the capability to teleport in, steal those treasures every time. Joker's already gotten it. It's being fed to him practically for free by these high HP brawlers just waddling into his zone. It is going to be a snag, though, for SK Gaming. They managed to stay ahead of Reply Totem. Maru, though, starts to equalize things out on the right side. Goes for the T back to the back lines. Gets an elimination as well, but this treasure is headed to Yoshi. It's a timing difference.
What a teleport play there from Maru there. Chooses the hypercharge, jukes out the meatball shot, auto aim to oblivion, and then just blows him up. Now he's desperately trying to claim that right side with a hypercharge of his own, and there's the DPS that he needs. Maru though, 4 HP, he still goes in. Man, he's no fear in his heart whatsoever.
Takes guts right there. We're looking at SK Gaming in a crazy comeback situation. Need to get only 2 more treasures. Yoshi, Ope, Naui exactly where they need to be. Only 1 more to go. Naui dragging things back. Joker in close proximity doesn't have the DPS. He can at least try to sit on top of this treasure, but it's no good. SK Gaming bring us on to match point.
Okay, tied up 1-1 now. SK Gaming, they got a lot better this time, and you know, a big part of it is just Frank not blowing out that mid position and opening up the entire map. Turns out that's, you know, kind of useful when your team relies on that bush, especially Opus Cordelius. After those walls went down in that first game, it was pretty challenging for him to get into position and do what Cordelius is do, right? But at the very least, now we're headed into a game number 3. Ope sends Joker into the Shadow Realm. That's a lot of time denial. He doesn't even have to bring him down. He just needs to waste his time, communicate to his teammates where he is, and there we go. Totem seems to be better at that communication though, because Maori was ready for him.
Maori now can reposition to the left side just a little bit too late. Got hit with the rage quit and loses his turret that he placed out in the open. They're abundant walls, so it does leave me scratching my head a little bit. Also saw Joker go for the combo with Walking Cane, but didn't follow up the final shot to eliminate Yoshi. It's going to permit SK Gaming to get an advantage here. They're in a position where they can actually get 2 treasures here at the same time. Left zone controlled. Now create the mid control. Maori, though, does emerge with a treasure, and it's a successful tie-up for Reply Totem.
There's a massive 2-man stun there from Noe as well. Opens up the side of Reply Totem. That's going to allow them to buy the position to now get this slight tempo lead. Let's see if they've memorized the pattern of the Frank. Yes, they kind of have, but can they snatch this point? Ope is going to be jumping on the left to get his one. Noe is just standing on top of that zone. He's not going to be allowing Totem to claw back these treasures, and it's now 8-4, only 2 more for SK.
Yoshi gets number 9. It's getting hairy for Reply Totem. Just 1 more is all it takes for SK Gaming to make this match theirs and go to the grand finals. There it is on the left side. Treasure on the right, left completely open. They didn't even need it. That's the level of control that they offered. Reply Totem, strong now with their former IGL Joker, will not be able to take down this super team of SK Gaming, at least not in Treasure Hunt. The rest of the modes, a mystery that'll be left for the main season.
That's a good way to put it. We didn't get to see thin walls, but I have to thank SK for picking Treasure Hunt here. Seems to be the most unpopular mode so far, but they got the win, and they understood this really well. I think it's really well drafted from them as well. This Cordelia's last pick was just set up really, really well on the side of SK here. The side of Totem, though, I think they were kind of forced to pick out this Grey because of this Frank. They needed to find a tactical way to sort of parachute the Shelly into the zone and deal with this Meepo and deal with this Frank. But love the sort of philosophy that comes up from both teams. I think it really could have gone either way. SK just slightly better in this mode.
Pretty much. And could they be slightly better? Yeah, actually, I agree. I think that's a great way of putting it. Slightly better in this mode. It's a little early to draw whether they're slightly better in general, because these aren't usual metrics that we would judge people by. And also, I think we saw kind of like a big mistake by Reply Totem. Even just in the first set, they left Ems completely open, and then it was over. They practically conceded the set at that point that Ems was so dominant.
Yeah, I think they're going to be beating themselves up for sure over that one. I mean, it's weird, right? Like, you've got the most, every single Brawl Stars patch, there's always the saying of like, there's definitely like the most broken brawler in the game, right?
Yes.
That's a given. It exists, and it is part of the sort of balancing and ebb and flow of the meta, so to speak. So, I mean, I don't think that, you know, they'll be beating themselves too much over this. Is just something that they have to note for the rest of the season. As you said, and a lot of people in chat have echoed this, guys, it's the preseason icebreaker, okay?
Yeah.
BSC points, not on the line. So they can afford to experiment, and maybe they had something in mind to do with the ends, and it just didn't work out.
Experimentation will continue. Spoo, I think you said it best. You are watching the preseason icebreaker. We're getting ready for the grand finals. We'll be back after a short break with the ultimate match of the night. Welcome back to the preseason icebreaker in EMEA. It's time to talk about the grand finals. Spoo, we've already played through both of the semifinals. They were absolutely exhilarating. We drew some new insights from these modes and how the EMEA region has approached them differently from the East Asia region. But let's also help people catch up. For the folks just now joining us for the broadcast, or could use a quick refresher on the format, let's start talking about it.
So bringing us to this format, it was a 4-team single elimination bracket. We'll show you the bracket later, but at the moment, it's SK and Humble that are the last 2 teams remaining. We've introduced a map pick. This is a novel idea that hasn't been seen in Brawl Stars before. 2 modes per team, and there's no repeat modes. That means you can't, for example, have 2 basketball maps that are selected. And at the moment, the tiebreaker is a part of a predetermined map pool, so to speak. And then there's global bans. This is a really highly requested feature from the pro players. We're approaching, what is it now already? Is it 100 over brawlers in the game?
Yeah,
and,
100.
Yeah.
Well, if you count Buzz Lightyear.
Oh, we don't talk about that guy. We don't talk about him, okay? So that brawler never happened in my heart. But with Globert's edition, we're closing on the 100 brawler.
Yay,
in the
99.
game.
Yeah, he never happened.
Yay.
The boogeyman.
So competitive needs more, and at the moment, yeah, these bans you're seeing on the screen, they were banned a lot lately, but yeah, so the order in which it happens, by the way, for you guys who are curious, is map picks will always happen first in this format that I've made, and then global bans happen after.
Yeah, exactly. And we're going to move on to how exactly our grand finalists have chosen their maps and their bans, but before we do that, we need to actually get familiar with who they are and how they got here. It hasn't been a long broadcast, okay? We've only been live for a couple of hours, but there are people coming in and out. Spook, catch everyone up on the journey of both Humble and SK Gaming to get here.
All right. So we start off with Humble up against Team Heretics, the 2020 World Finals. World champions, sorry, went up against this new Team Heretics, and even though Heretics, they did put up a really good fight, they fell to Humble in set number 5. I think they just kind of had a different philosophy there in terms of how to play it. And then SK versus Totem, this is a grudge match, a small one where Joker has left SK. So this is the new SK. It's got Noe inside instead of Joker, and Joker's returned to Totem. It finished up 3-1 on a treasure hunt where SK just displayed, just sheer tactical and mechanical brilliance. That's brought us here to this moment now where it's Humble up against SK. It's Brawl Cup all over again, baby.
Man, it's always these two versus each other, and we've tried to draw analyses. Is it going to be Humble? Is it going to be SK? Well, it seems like one wins at LAN and the other wins online. It's weird, but we're online. But also, it's a different kind of tournament. So I think, folks, it's time for us to sit back and let Humble and SK show us who is best as they both play their hearts out on this selection of maps. Now, Spoo, this is fascinating right here. It seemed earlier like everyone was going to avoid Treasure Hunt like the plague, and now it's been selected by SK as first pick.
I guess they had a fantastic run at Treasure Hunt earlier. And, just to reveal a little bit of what's going on inside the chat with the players as they're picking these maps, because, yeah, we are doing it slightly manually. This is not like some amazing system we've got going on here, TLDR. But, yeah. Samantha came up with a statement. He's like, imagine picking Hot Zone, inside as your first map. To him, it's like he gives me the vibe that he's not really taking it too seriously, right? Like, he's looking at this tournament. It's meant to be fun. We've got a bit of experimentation going on. So, yeah, he didn't pick a control map, and neither did SK. I just love that.
I just have to wonder, with GV Kua, where is Brawl Ball? I think we had enough sports modes. We had enough ball modes is basically what we decided. Because, look, this is what we knew. We wanted Brawl Hockey. We wanted Basketball. We wanted Present Plunder. And we wanted to give Treasure Hunt a try. So that left one more mode. And we're like, okay, well, we got ball mode. We got pickup mode. So let's go to area control mode. That is why we selected Hot Zone. In theory, we could have gone for Knockout as well. But that's the thing is, Spoo and I designed the format, and I'm a notorious knockout hater. So you can totally come to me and blame me. For anyone curious why we're not starting the match yet, we are just waiting on them to get in lobby, but it's cool because we love to entertain you, and we get to sit here and chat and actually theorycraft, Spoo, about what this one is going to wind up looking like. specifically looking at Ancient Treasure being the first one. You mentioned, Spoo, that they're coming off a hot streak. They already got a win on Ancient Treasure, probably feeling pretty good about it. Humble, maybe not feeling so comfortable.
Slight correction there. They didn't win on Ancient Treasure. They won on the other one.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. They won on, yes, Treasure Hunt.
Yeah.
My bad.
Exactly. Like SK won on Treasure Hunt, but it wasn't Ancient Treasure. The mode was the same, but the map was different. And I think that's just so interesting because in theory, they could have just gone with the map was hidden in plain sight. I just went to look it up, by the way. But hidden in plain sight was what they just won on. So they know that they could just brought it out again. But I guess they're assuming that, Semantic is literally in chat, guys, and he's watching the stream. So he's assuming that, oh, we've exposed a strat for that. So now we pivot and we pick a different map. Even though we understand the mode, we really like it. Maybe I'm just postulating here, right? SK like Treasure Hunt, but they want to switch up the map so that the comps aren't exposed. And I think that's just that's my theory of why they're going with this, and I think that's brilliant. That's just another way that map picks just could change, competitive.
Pretty much, it's the ability to choose your own destiny, basically, and also to upset your opponent in their home territory. That is what I love so much about this format. I can't wait to test it out in some of the modes that people are more comfortable with, but we want to test out a bunch of things in this tournament, so that's why we've got like such a smattering of new formats.
Indeed. Yeah, a lot of people are saying bring back Siege and bring back Siege. Yeah.
Siege isn't in the game. The Siege has not been in the game for 3 years. I'm just saying it was removed from the game.
and I will give you reasons why, honestly speaking, in the current day and age, it's really difficult. Now, this was a real discussion, the folks that we actually did have, of whether we should, make a push for that, because we are talking to Supercell to make this thing happen, right? So when we were discussing the modes that should have been surfaced and stuff like that, there were some things. So I can tell you what didn't make it. The first experimental mode that I think we scratched off the list based on a lot of feedback and stuff like that was Cleaning Duty, right? Yeah. And that's the closest mode to Siege because of the fact that, it's just a random, there's a lot of random spawning stuff in the middle and then you have to fight the people. But that's just it. It's kind of a little bit of an uninspiring mode in current form. Now, Siege, what's the problem? The numbers haven't been fixed. When they brought back Siege for a minor event and, you guys in chat, maybe you guys played it because you guys are all pros and stuff like that. But when I played it, here's how it went. With hypercharges in tow, you had brawlers that could single-handedly dive the safe and bring it down from 100 to 0. That is not how it's supposed to go. But enough yammering from us. We're diving into our first set of the grand finals. Ready? I'm still pumped. I'm still so excited.
That's going to be a blast. Why are we starting off on Ancient Treasure? Someone give me an explanation right now. SK Gaming, what are you on? Who put you up to this? Who are you? Are you even the same Ope, Naui, and Yoshi that I thought I knew and loved? Of course, no. I would never question my allegiance. All hail SK Gaming. Just because they chose Treasure Hunt, I would never abandon them. Now, let's talk about these global bans. Spoo, I think we touched on them briefly, but just to reiterate, Shelly, no. Ems, definitely not. And Meg and Mina, most certainly not permitted. But the Pam sneaks in on Ancient Treasure, a more permanent solution to control on this point. Very interesting, and I do see some walls where that turret could be placed aptly.
Oh yeah, there's this unbreakable wall inside the mid that I think every time you see an unbreakable wall, the first thing that comes to mind has to be throwers, right? And where there are throwers, there's going to be assassins in play. So I am looking to see, but oh my god. SK, I mean, this day just keeps getting better already. Like, bringing in the Lu and the Carl here, 2 other brawlers that we've yet to see whatsoever. It looks like SK, they drafted this map and they are just making the statement that they understand control-based modes. I mean, it is Lord Pedro who is drafting here, and Lu has always been a pretty good answer to the Pam. It's just an easy brawler to chart supers off. Yes, Lu doesn't really have the damage to bring it down, but that's where you sort of have reservations for your last pick to bring it out. I find it really interesting to see the Carl though. Is this sort of just like early thrower prevention, or are they looking for some flying hook desperado plays on the point?
Yeah, I think that they're probably just hoping to get on top of anything that's vulnerable, like a thrower or something like that, because they know they're leaving themselves open to this with going with a Lu, especially Lu into a stew. They're being mindful of that. Now, I think they also would like to pick a thrower of their own into this PAM. Just waiting to see what might be the selection here. Pierce, of course, snuck in. Going to have to be a top selection, a long-range one. And I see the play here. I see the vision. And whoever winds up piloting this Pierce over here needs to have some deadly aim. Of course, he doesn't have much HP. He's very much a sharp shooter. And with the wiggles that either one of these teams will be offering at this level, it can be difficult to hit those shots.
Gotta say, I like Humble's draft. I mean, their first pick, and we still got a last pick coming out here from SK, but at the moment, seems pretty even so far, but Humble seems to have the slightly more meta updated brawlers, I think, in this matchup. SK Gaming, though, I like this Ruff's last pick to come out from them. I think the damage department was really lacking, and instead of picking another damage dealer of your own, they've gone up with another, just sort of supportive brawler to make the rest of the team good, right? 3 buff is always a strong win condition to have, and if they can secure that early, that could potentially just be, a difficult sort of push that Humble have to make it.
Okay, we're letting them load in here on Ancient Treasure. See what on earth SK was thinking about making this the very first mode. Are they comfortable? Are they feeling crafty? It's time to kick off the grand finals of the preseason icebreaker here in EMEA. One match, only one champion emerges.
The first treasure is going to be going over to Yoshi there now. We tried to go for a flying hook play to contest that point, but didn't really manage to clean this one up. He's going to barely... Okay, no, he's going to drop that to the fire there. And Symantec, they're taking just too much damage. A great pinch there from the side of SK.
SK keeping pace with Humble at the moment. Looks like they're going to barely break ahead with the pickup of another treasure. The tempo lead goes to SK Gaming. Humble, of course, is playing catch-up at the same time. And look how carefully this range game is being played. We haven't seen this map just yet. In fact, we haven't really seen much treasure hunt at all. But this one's proven to be a much more balanced one. Look at Boss. Blasts away now. He knew that he needed to get the knockback. Here comes Lukey to be the top of that Pierce sandwich. Send him back to the respawn and get a bit of control back. But look at this. SK Gaming, they've been snapping up these treasures like it's nobody's business, and they're still ahead in spite of having no control.
Great shots there coming out from Humble, now dominating on both zones. Area control is the name of the game for this moment. Currently, SK, they just don't have anything. It's going to be Noe that's going to have to lead the charge here, or OP to get the super, but both of them don't really seem too close there. OP with a cheeky gadget there, and Noe there makes the play with the flying hook, immediately goes in, and the tailspin to follow up there. OP wants to snag up this treasure, but just being patient there. Now 8-6, SK only need 2 more.
Here comes Lukey to contest the Ruffs on the left side. Yoshi's trying to be tricky, but Lukey has those dashes on lock. Even still, it's not enough to keep the treasure out of SK Gaming's clutches. That's going to be game number 1 for SK.
They're the ones who picked this map, and rightly so, because they seem to understand it. I get the loot tech now. I wasn't even thinking about that gadget. I was thinking, you go for, hypothermia as always, and you go for that what's it called? Sticky syrup mixture. Yeah, that's the full name, right? Yeah, what a mouthful to say. But I mean, yeah, like the loot tech of just sitting on the point and you're invulnerable, and that's a way to secure it if you need to make desperate plays. That said, though, Symantec's gonna diff Alpe there on the left lane and secure the first treasure for his team. The amount of time that he buys there is gonna be a huge early game lead there for Humble.
SK Gaming still behind. Look at this. 3 treasures for Humble already. Maybe this could be their game. Maybe SK Gaming won't be able to pull ahead of this one. It's hard to take back a lead like this. Humble, they can't drop any of these treasures. They're up to 4. SK Gaming should be able to get one of their own, but they need to keep control of the left side. We'll see Boss and Lukey take control of the right side in spite of being shoved away from the point by that big ol' icy circle on the ground. The skating rink disappears, and Humble get to resume their dominion.
Dominion is a great way to put it. I mean, Humble this is a completely different Humble that we're seeing. Lukey is going to be chased down there by Noe, but a nice snipe there from Boss catches him up there. Another kill there from the Pierce. Okay, wait, did he just get all 3 of the map? How did that last shot even hit? That, I can't even see how far that shot goes. And yeah, the Dominion continues.
Humble only 3 treasures away. What can SK Gaming do at this point? Well, they have taken control of the left side. They'll get a bit of wall break, too. Treat on the ground for anyone who desires it. Yoshi picks it up and promptly dies. It's going absolutely nowhere, and SK Gaming have to know that their hopes are dashed. This is going to be a tied set, whether they like it or not.
It's a tight set, and this one wasn't even close, right?
Nope.
I mean, and what did Humble do differently? I just saw them do the same lanes.
Pretty
Boss is
much.
still in the mid. Symantec is still like, I will diff whoever, right? Yoshi, Ope, whatever. And on the side of SK, they were the ones who made like a small lane switch at the start, and then they lost a bit of tempo, and then they just never came back.
Well, can Humble get the same tempo lead as last time? They started off with 3 treasures, which was just absolutely ridiculous. We'll see the refs bags come down. Boss trying to snipe. Can't connect to anything yet. And it results in SK Gaming getting a treasure unscathed. Lukey on the right side, meanwhile, has a dream matchup versus Ope. Lu is generally helpless into his stew. In fact, the stew, I would even say, is probably picked directly in to that Lu to counter it. And as a result, you'll just see Lu doing nothing. Yoshi will meet his demise at the hands of Boss's rifle, and Humble now get to take control of this left side just as the treasure spawns as well. The timing couldn't be better.
Yeah, this skating rink is coming down a little bit late there from Ope. It does force Symantec out of the zone, but it's not really at a good timing because they couldn't really get a treasure. They're going to get this one, but a little bit of asymmetry in terms of the number of treasures from both sides. SK need to claw back both zones if they want to get this one. Nobody's going to be going in there with the tailspin, but it's the worst target possible to go for.
Well, that's an interesting exchange. Ope ends up dying to the mama squeeze even after coming out of that invulnerability, but Boss gets 2 kills, and that zone is safe and sound. In fact, 2 of them belong to Humble at the moment. Boss just trying to stay alive on this left one to get treasure number 10 and end off the game and set. It's Treasure Hunt headed over to Humble in a total reversal of expectations. SK decided to take a risk by putting this relatively unknown mode as their map selection, and it went the way of Humble.
Yeah, not expected at all. I mean, SK, they were cooking, for sure. With this Lu, Carl sort of pairing that they came up with. I don't know if they were experimenting because, you know, it's a new format and stuff. But as I said, when you leave brawlers like Pierce inside the pool, there has to be a justifiable reason. And for this one, I gotta say, I mean, is it just a little bit of ego? Like, did SK just think, you know what? We're not gonna get hit by those shots. So in theory, I guess we'll just, you know, leave it be. You know, we'll just go with our strategy and stuff like that. But just look at that. I mean, I think Boss hit a lot of shots.
Yeah, I get the feeling. Could it be the fact that his number is 6 digits? But couldn't you also say that Yoshi hit a lot of shots too? Because look at this. He's got even more damage than Boss was putting in the work for his team and ended up with only a 2 and 6 KD. That's a torture matchup for him. In fact, bad matchups across the board. I think Naui was the only one who really had a horse in this race as far as the kills, and you can see it. He went 4 and 9. It was better than his teammates were able to manage in their unfortunate matchups. We'll call it that. I feel so bad for Ope having to play Lu into a steal.
I mean, just think about it, right? Like, you're absolutely on point there. And even the best matchup that they have, this Noe matchup on the Carl, like, who's really a good target on Humble? You saw, like, it was a desperate struggle to bring down the stew. He had tailspin active, and Lukey was just like, I'm gonna dash 3 times in a row because I've got 0 ping. And then, like, good luck chasing up to it. You still get the kill, but you tank so much damage in return. He did attempt, you know, 1 tailspin attempt on the Pam. Couldn't really get the finish either. Yeah, like, he was like, why did I choose to dive Symantec? This was a terrible idea. I'm getting out of here. And then against the Pierce, presses the gadget, bang. You're getting knocked back. I mean, that's just one of the no good, right? So yeah, SK gotta go back to the drawing board. They've conceded their own map. Now, Symantec made big statements, right? He said, like, he's been playing a whole bunch of Super Center, but the last time that he played this Brawl against Team Heretics, it was pretty close.
You have to admit, now, Super Center, where is the method? When I saw Humble play this at first, no offense, I wasn't entirely convinced. Reason being that when we saw East Asia play, it seemed like they had memorized the spots they needed to shoot the puck to get some, like, nutty shot. And the counterplay was there as well. Everyone was so aware of the strats. And there was a huge prioritization on movement brawlers is another thing that I want to mention. I would love to see this emerge from Humble or SK Gaming. We see the primary movement brawlers are banned for SK. They got rid of that Stu. They even banned Mina and the Melody for this set. You also see on Humble they got rid of Shelly. Shelly can dash forward. So what do you really have left?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I mean, at the very least, the most broken brawlers are banned out, though. I mean, seeing Frank, seeing the Shelly and M's global ban does bring a smile to my face. We're not gonna see Ope or any of these players in the lobby pick those up. But a trend that we've been seeing, that we saw in East Asia as well, is this B pickup, right? The logic behind it is simple. You want a brawler to hang back and just defend your goal, but also free ammo. Who doesn't like free shots?
I don't mind some free shots. I don't mind also having a good B matchup into whenever Humble's going to play. Okay, Max. All right, that should be something that you can play B into. Generally, you can like slow down a Max push, but it can be tricky to hit those shots as well because she's so darn wiggly at the same time.
Every time you say wiggly,
You think I'm calling your name?
A shiver goes up my spine. That's all I'm gonna say.
Only a little nervous.
Holding my breath here. We're seeing a ricochet come in there from the side of Humble. This is a different take on this map structure. I mean, as I said, this is the most close map as hockey maps are gonna get. And believe me, I scoured through the hockey maps when I was deciding the maps for this tournament. And yeah, this was the one that I felt was, you know, the most competitive in one way, but it's also one that allows for a little bit more close maps. Now, Humble are gonna take a stab at it and pick up this ricochet. They're gonna try and play off some of those. You see those side lane pockets there as the points that he can really bounce off. But I think the last time that they piloted this Rico idea didn't really go in their favor.
Buster making an appearance on SK Gaming. What are they planning for? They couldn't be worried about an Ollie or something. How often do you see Buster make an appearance? He can generally be a strong brawler, but into Rico, into that Max, it is going to be a little difficult. I think he's maybe considering waiting for the Max to come to him and then punishing as a result. Also, just the goal-scoring combo that you can get with slow-mo replay.
Oh my god. Semantics in the chat, by the way. He literally just typed out, chat, we're cooked. Yeah, like we cooked the we flopped the draft, guys. GG's, it's over. But like, yeah, he might be able to save this one. But after seeing this Buster grip response there from SK, they're not holding back, right? Like, this is an insanely good response there to a Rico pick there. One response to break down the walls, and the other to allow yourself a tank that can also do a tremendous amount of pressure inside this map. Now, Ope is one of the best Busters on the planet. I'm looking forward to this one.
I trust in his ability to play this brawler. We're also going to see how those brawlers swap up as we get ready for Super Center. Set number 2, it's a selection of Humble. They already got set number 1, but it wasn't without a fight from SK. SK got game number 1, and Humble came back with number 2 and number 3. They could extend their lead, and this is a map that they are comfortable on. Otherwise, would they have chosen it? I doubt it. Let's get started as we are now moving into game.
As we continue to break the ice of the year now, we're going to kick things off here with Super Center. Okay, big interaction going up in the mid. Don't worry, there's an unbreakable wall to prevent Luki from getting the shot there. Now passing it over there to Yoshi. The puck control is so far so good from both teams. And Boss now with a big super to pinch out Noe there. That's going to be the second kill of the game.
Passed all the way to the back right. It's good, and no one was there to stop it. It was just Naui, but he was barely out of position, simply behind the goal line where that puck could not be blocked. We're going to see Luki go for another cheap shot. Are you kidding? When will you learn that your actions have consequences? SK, get your head in the game.
They gotta pay attention to the puck control a little bit more. And the positioning of this mode is just so important. Yoshi's gonna get a really nice super here onto 2. And Noe manages to reflect just a good amount of shots there onto Boss. Passes the puck over there, but tries to create an opening. But Symantec is already in the right spot there to prevent this one. Now, this Lumi continues to aggress forward, gets a nice stun there onto Yoshi there, but Pandemonium on the right side as Boss shreds through the entirety of SK. Opedo clears the puck. Goodbye. All that hard work in the dirt.
Bye-bye, and it's not even bouncing back, man. That is a dead puck in the back right. It's going to be one of these unfortunate souls on Humble that has to go on to clean up crew and pick it up. But it's fine. There are already 2 goals in the lead. Here comes the speed from Lukey. Semantic can press around the left side. Now he doesn't really have any counterplay into this. He's just constantly getting slowed, trying to keep his distance and simply use his super from staying close to Ope. Yoshi on the right side is put in a torturous position, hiding in the corner. Puck passed forward. Would have been a great chance to pass to Naui, but it was no! All the way from the other side. You've got to be kidding.
Oh my god, SK there. The communication must be pass to the left, 45 degrees, something like that. Quickly, we don't have time. And don't have time indeed. Samantha with a hypercharge super gonna delete half of SK across the map. Noe tried to go for a goal play there just to save it, but so far it is all Humble. Ope needs to desperately get this puck out, but the Grim and Frostbitten is standing in his path. No way for them to exit the base. And Humble, Semantic lied to us, man. He said they flubbed the comp. I don't think so. It looks pretty good.
I think Semantic, I think everyone at Humble, they just bait. That's all they do. That's their one trick, is that they go, by the way, guys, unfortunately, we're not signing him. Just kidding. We lied to you. We lied to you, our loyal fans, because we don't care about you. Just kidding. They didn't say that. I don't think they said that. But Semantic, he's going to do it again. He's going to play the mind game and tell you that, no, we messed it up. But turns out it's exactly what they wanted.
SK though, they switch it up right now. It's Noe on that left lane, up against Lumi. This is a different matchup. They're putting Yoshi up against Boss instead. But the early game oppression there coming out there from Lumi and Boss is still there. Now this Grim and Frostbitten, Noe's in a weird spot there. Can't really move properly there. Gonna throw the puck there onto the left side, onto Semantic where he's strong. And Yoshi just throwing his life away there, just trying to get the wall break here. It's gonna just be Noe left to stop this one. And Semantic, he's aware of it. Not gonna be picking up that puck anytime. Just being really, really patient. Now he gets that kill. And with the super, the stun, passes it over to his teammates. Oh my god. This is just clinical from Humble.
It's precisely what they wanted. I can't say it enough. It is the mode they picked, and they're practicing perfect proficiency in depositing that puck right across the goal line.
That's 2-0 down now, and SK need 2 goals to even tie up this game. And just one more for Humble. They've got the lane swaps that they wanted to. The wall break strategy kind of starting to materialize there. But look at Boss. He's playing as like a second max. And just as I said, Ope just nails him to the ground. But that said, using the speed there.
Lukey.
Come on.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, no, he's got the puck now, and this should be an easy one for him. And yeah, he does get that one. That was so weird, by the way. We're passing it to each other, obviously, and just like the puck, we're not really sure who would get the goal there. But then Grim and Frostbitten is going to be coming out. There we go. Semantic there with the hypercharge to just delete half the SK roster. But because puck's with Noe, it's secure. Not for long, though. Or is it? Okay.
Lukey's got that puck. Right side's looking a little open. Can they get Naui out of the equation? Well, this looks like a... Oh, but they don't have the puck. They've cornered it because, of course, they have. 10 seconds to go. Can it be that serious? Well, yes, it is. This is set number 2 on the line. 5 seconds to go. Yoshi trying to keep this ball in his possession. 1 second. They got the puck possession, but they couldn't get in the goal in time. That's Humble taking set number 2 in a close call, but a win nonetheless.
Oh man, that's 2-0 right now going on to Humble, and this is not a LAN event, but they sure look dominant at the moment. Gotta say, they're winning not on their map. And Lukey, how many times did he pull this trick off, man? Like, how many times did he do the same, like, hey guys, did you forget that I can just do this? And this pass across the map, just beautiful there from SK to just barely pull it back. I gotta say though, this Rico idea is well salvaged.
Look at this team play also from Humble. Just exactly what you needed to see. Passing the ball back and forth. Knew the positioning so well. Well done, Humble. The comms are just off the charts. And I don't know, Spoo, does it seem like they scrimmed this to you?
I honestly want to say Symantec did probably. I guess Symantec's been playing a little ball hockey and he really understands it. He was confident. I mean, that's what he said to Heretics and, you know, coming into this match. Folks, I want to put one more stake on the line, by the way, and I got permission from Symantec to do this. Aside from, you know, glory of being the winner of the preseason icebreaker, they've got another stake here. It's a handshake agreement between Pedro and Symantec that whichever team wins this one will get the tweet on the other guy's account.
Oh, you think so? You think you think that is what's actually happening, or this is what you know is happening?
That's what's happening in the chat.
That's what's... Oh, there's a discussion happening in the chat. This has been so entertaining. And folks, I know we haven't really interacted with the chat so much, but we do want to hear y'all's opinions. And we do value, like, y'all's comments and everything about the modes as they've been going on and what you think, you know, could have improved them, what you think is good about them, whether you think they're ready to go ahead and be moved into competitive. We're giving it a fair shot. We're giving it a fair shake, seeing what the pro players seem to think as well. And we even have some professional players in chat, some that are going to be playing in the Icebreaker tomorrow. I'm looking at you, Juan Carlos. And I'm curious about all of y'all's thoughts because we really do value that. Of course, we are also killing time. It's time to get into our next draft. Set number 3, Humble. They've gotten 2 sets already, but now they're back in enemy territory. SK Gaming, they've got a case of the Mondays, even though it is Saturday. But name of the map aside, let's plunder that present, Spoo.
Okay. All right, ready. You stretched that one a bit fine. So respect bans are coming out here from SK. The Rico, they've had enough, right? Boss was fantastic on that one. And I think they did see it played as well when Humble brought it up against Team Heretics. Now, Humble didn't win in the last present Plunder, and this is SK's map selection. So I'm expecting that SK should be a little bit more prepared for this map. And I say a little bit more because we don't even know if the teams managed to prepare for these modes in particular. But theory crafting, right? At least they picked present Plunder. And yeah, they had a choice of present Plunder over, for example, Hot Zone. And they picked this one up. So huge respect there for SK to go into unfamiliar territory. They're going to lead out with the Meeple here. Just a familiar start to something that has worked for them in their previous match.
Next pick for Humble. On Case of the Mondays, Meeple's a pretty solid selection when it comes to damage and control. But what about getting to the enemy side and getting all the way back? Shelly's been one of the primary methods for doing that, and she's been globally banned by Humble, who seem primarily interested in playing defense right now. I can see Charlie maybe getting to the enemy side, cocooning a defender, and then making it all the way back home with some assistance of teammates. But this is more likely just setting up the future pick.
Oh yeah, for sure. There it is. I mean, that pairing, this Charlie Max selection that's coming out from Humble there, I mean, it just makes a lot of sense, right? You got this Max, you know that with the speed is one of the few mechanics in Present Plunder that's really, really important because you can't pass the present anymore, but you can run away with it. So dashes don't work. As soon as you dash, the present will drop. But if you're max speeded and you speed up, let's say like a Frank with Sponge, you literally could run in and then run out. And if SK don't do the damage, there's nothing they could do. They paired up with the Charlie. So if you've managed to, you know, cocoon up someone, that's one less defender.
Okay, next selection from SK Gaming. What is it going to be? We have Meeple and Poco so far. I think it's time to get aggressive. But how are you really going to deal with this Charlie? I don't know if they can afford to play this one too safe. Need something that gets positioning. And that's where they're going to bring in Kenji. He can also go briefly invincible, so if he needs a bit of extra survivability while he's in a tricky situation like 1v1 at the enemy side, yeah, he can survive that. He can also get a kill because of the damage of his super.
That said, though, there's a lot of good answers still left inside the pool for Humble. I already think that it's decent that they've already got this Charlie to go up against the Kenji. So permanently, as long as they leave the Charlie at home, they shouldn't really have a problem to really have the defense. They're looking for something that can aid, you know, this Max on that offense and break through this Meeple. But it's gonna be Trunk. Okay. Well, I am not the biggest expert on Trunk, and to be fair, he's not been in competitive long enough for us to really have a solid opinion. But I guess in theory, it's great matchups against all three. And it kind of forces the Meeple to switch out his gadget. Might have to take the stun instead of the Meeple's Mansion.
Our draft is set, and it's set number 3 on the way. Humble is up by 2 sets at the moment. They only need 1 more to mercifully lay SK Gaming to rest in what appears to be a sweep in the making. And on a brand new game mode as well, one never before seen in competitive in EMEA until now. Let's talk about it, Spoo. So far, it's a really asymmetrical matchup. We see Humble, they have Semantic on the enemy side. Even the teleport being used, now he's trying to use a strat that was utilized by Mortis earlier in East Asia, but it's not going so well. Oh, hold up.
I was getting a little motion sick because there's just so much action going on that even the camera couldn't figure it out. But here we go. SK Gaming, they're the first one to plunder the present. They managed to steal it right now, and they're on the run. We see Ope just blocking out all the shots and desperately just trying to get Yoshi across the map. But Samantha gonna be spinning in there. Ope is back to claim the present. And Humble, they make the call. They say, rob them of the present. That's the other way to defend. The best, offense is a good defense or something like that. And now we can run this present back home. I think if they bring it back in the zone, though, then they're gonna hold it hostage. They're waiting for the present to come back.
Oh, no!
Oh my god, they're aware of this. They're aware of the exploit. This is exactly what we wanted to see.
Okay, Semantic, you're in a bad situation. Ope's going to stay on top of that, and look how quickly the bar's going down. Boss can't do anything. He's helpless, just bearing witness to what is a goal in the making for SK Gaming, provided they hold on to that present. And this one expires on the side of Humble. Is it just me, or is it moving in slow motion? There it is! And spawn camping the present. Can't imagine doing that. Humble now just trying to catch up to him, but he's too darn fast. They know it's over. And SK Gaming, you know what? They're too much of gentlemen to hit him with the spin back, because you saw Semantic going in circles. I know you did.
I don't really get it. Like, I'm gonna be honest, my IQ is not high enough for this mode. Like, look, guys, this mode hasn't been around for a long time. I've played this when this used to be the original Present Plunder.
2019.
Back when the boat was tilted and stuff.
What did you just do with your hands?
Oh no. What have I done? I've summoned it. I mean, either way, that's not what I'm familiar with, how the mechanics of that exact interaction is supposed to go, but it does look like SKR because they're winning.
SK Gaming may claw it back. It is their selection, after all. It's what they felt more comfortable on, and they've proven themselves so capable of getting to the enemy side and get back with the present. But last one, I don't know. It didn't feel right. Yeah, now that feels more like it. Lukey gonna get that dash forward and try and get through Ope. Boss will be waiting to pick up the present if Lukey falls, but he doesn't. Boss stands there as a buffer zone. It's one present pilfered by Humble so far. SK Gaming now trying to play catch-up, but Humble have the advantage of being able to pretty much only play defense. They have the disadvantage of facing 2 hypercharges right now.
And there we go, hypercharge there up onto Yoshi. That's gonna allow the whole team to slip through these walls, and they're gonna try to exploit it. Ope gets the damage it onto Semantic. Nobi also eats up Boss. A Cocoon, they're gonna be going out there onto one of the 3 members, but it's still SK Gaming strong enough to bring out this present. That's gonna be an easy steal for them to even up this match 1-1.
Semantic, super equipped, ready to push in. Could punish that Poco. He's looking for the proper angle to do so. Ope's a pretty juicy looking target. Might actually wait for Boss and Lukey to soften them up first. Nope, he's gonna go for Poco solo. Oh, blast right past him. What's going on, Semantic? He gets 1, nearly got 2 if it weren't for the Cocoon. And that present is in tow. Lukey's running all the way home with his stolen goods, and that's enough to put Humble only 1 game away from winning the entire darn thing.
The preseason icebreaker could end in a 3-0 for EMEA if Humble win this next one. And I've got to say, they allowed this sort of broken Poco to make it through. I think it's pretty broken, judging from what we've been seeing so far. That little change that they did to the supercharge was enough to warrant that. But now SK, this is their last shot, right? If they want to start a reverse sweep, it's got to start here. And they're gonna go with a little bit of lane swapping action going on. You can see Noe trying to desperately dodge out boss here. Symantec though goes for the big push by himself. And Yoshi, he realizes there's no way to stop boss. So he'd rather just, start to like prevent the transfer of the present. Now he's gonna defend it while he waits for his team to respawn.
Ope sending this back to the base as quickly as he can by standing under it. Symantec now exchanging positions using the teleporter. If he only had a super, he could get over to that enemy side. Instead, he's going to have to crunch around an enemy. Or is he? Rushing to the enemy side. Looks like a retreat for SK Gaming. Ope knows bad business, and they're going to work to return that present back to the base as soon as possible. Hypercharge pop to get a bit more movement and assist Naui, and now the defensive hypercharge from Boss almost taken down by the sashimi slices from Naui, and now everyone gets to walk through the walls. Ope with a double kill, and that's enough to get SK that present and a clean walk home.
A clean extraction there coming out from SK, but Symantec's got some plans of his own. Pops the hypercharge. Nope, not going to be using it just yet. Just wanted to just get out of that position. Resets it together with the rest of the Humble roster. He's going to be brought down here. No, he teleports back there with that teleporter just to reset the position. Wait for the rest of his team to push up together. And it just looks like SK have discovered the formula to winning in this mode.
Here's the speed. Luki wants to push forward, but kind of can't. They need to help out Symantec over here with a hypercharge super ready to move. Now he was a huge threat, but he's been totally nullified. Now an attempt to get rid of Ope. Healing lifeline denied. It's 3v1 and now 3v1 part 2. But the staggered respawns are too much of an issue for Humble to deal with. These respawn shields, can't get through them, and they're forced to retreat until they can get more than just one kill at a time.
Max Duration Thunder from Yoshi was crucial as well, and the tanks just continue to duke out on that left side. No, we might win this matchup. The teleporter came in clutch, saved Symantec there, but it is SK that are running down the timer in quintessential fashion. Yoshi's going to get the hypercharge online now. They just need to defend this one, and SK are not going to be getting 3-0 by Humble here. They're going to celebrate together with a little emoji there coming out there. They know that they didn't get 3-0'd here by Humble, and that is a good sign at the very least. So 2-1 now. One set gonna be going to go to SK on their map. They need to win on Humble's map next if they want to tie this up and go to a set 5.
Set 3 in the books. SK Gaming prolonged the series. We're gonna be going to Humble's map this time. I think probably a tall ask for Humble to perform well on a new mode that was selected by SK Gaming intentionally. By the way, I want to point out that Hot Zone has actually been left for last, and it's defaulted to parallel plays of all maps. We could very much be going there. It comes down to whether SK Gaming win Humble's final map pick. Let's talk about these stats as well, Spoo. I was expecting to see more out of Symantec. I think a lot of times he's throwing himself at the enemy, and also many times that's your job. As Trunk, he almost got the most damage on the team, narrowly tied basically with Boss on the damage. But it pretty much always befell Symantec to get that present and get it a little bit of the way towards Humble's side, but he was frequently left alone, and as a result couldn't make that much of an impact.
Gotta say, is it just me, or is it really peculiar that the Meeple's got the highest damage in the whole lobby? It's a single shot brawler, right? I mean, how much damage is he doing now? Is it like 2,200? And then with the super is like, what, 3,000 or something? I mean, that's a lot of shots that he must have put into Symantec or something. Someone on Humble was a sponge that game, I gotta say. And yeah, SK have bought themselves on the lifeline, and as a result, we're gonna be able to see Ball Hog as the next map.
Okay, first selection coming in, it's Poco from a Humble. As a tried-tested and true favorite, it lent itself to SK Gaming's success in the very last set. SK Gaming's response to this, well, B has been banned. Humble knew that they wanted this Poco. And we haven't seen too much in terms of responding to Poco selections here, except for really tripling down on the anti-tank. And even in those cases, it simply wasn't enough. I'll relate back to East Asia for this, where we saw triple anti-tank selected, and it did not cut the mustard. Whoa! Okay, wait, hold up. I'm beginning to see the vision, because think of this, by the same logic of Poco having tremendous value by having such a wide shot on such a cramped map, Maisie has a big ol' radius, and she's also able to dash forward for a little bit more pressure. So I understand the vision here.
I agree. Why do you need B? And the 3k shots, or in this case it's now 4k because of the new damage numbers, when you've got a brawler like Maisie that every shot is a 3k. So,
yeah.
I mean, you wanted damage, you wanted long range, you wanted CC. Maisie's got all of it in one. Now, what's the weakness of the Maisie? You gotta hit those shots, and those shots are really, really hard to land. But I guess Ope is gonna be in charge of playing it. It's a brawler that I know that he really likes. And now SK, they opt to go for more stability. Chester there. Basketball, I think it's a long enough mode that he should be able to get hypercharge online, and that's still a big win condition that may come into play. So I like this. I think they've responded to the Poco well, and hey, my favorite Korean Spen LC, Jae-young is back.
That caught me off guard right there. Yeah, he bears a strong resemblance to Spen LC. You know, it's the necktie tied around the head, the sideburns, the pencil-thin mustache, and of course, who could forget those tinted shades? You know what? I'm going to confess, I never really understood why people said that Spen LC is Jae-young. Someone in chat, correct me. Someone in chat, share your opinion on basketball before it's played, and then let us know if your opinion changed after it was played, especially if you haven't seen it yet. No doubt Humble and SK Gaming will put on an excellent show. So now you've got the double supports and you have a tank, and it's a tank that's good against tanks. Let me point out another thing. Rats going to be soaking up some of those shots from Maisie and from Chester. So SK's responsibility is going to be either pick a tank that's better, or they go with something that has a piercing shot and functions as an anti-tank. They're going to go for Lumi to basically do that, slow it down so it doesn't get too much momentum.
Great analysis there. I think there's a lot of choices they've gone for. They go for the most modern one, and Lumi, they get a slight buff in the balance changes. They realized that they over-nerfed Lumi a little bit, and it felt so sluggish to play that I guess it was just basically unplayable. They've reverted that. So at the very least, now Lumi is back at her prime. Not the prime with the range, but the prime at least with the DPS, and it's going to fill that role. Is it enough, though? That's the thing. So we're seeing two complete philosophies. Humble, they just want to back this horse, and the horse is Ashe, just heal Ashe, give the move speed, let him literally grab the ball, run under the hoop, and throw it in. And SK, they've got 3 literal anti-tanks. Is that enough?
Well, it's enough to get that ball to the other side and enough to make it bounce off the rim a couple times and topple to the ground in a pathetic orange heap. And go back to the possession of Humble, where it'll be a deposit over the right side. Interestingly, we don't really see players in basketball position the ball on the ground somewhere. They usually like to hold on to it.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a different mentality, and now that's not an own goal, by the way.
Yeah.
We've seen that happen a lot today. It's just a transfer of the ball there. Ope is playing 1 versus 2 at the moment. Great super for him to buy the time. Ooh, we committed for the second one. That's an ambitious thing to say, at least, thinking that Luki wouldn't be able to get it, but it's still neck and neck between these two teams. They're just desperately competing for this ball, puckered away at the sort of northeast side of the map. Nice stun there from Noe, but the heals there from Luki to keep him alive there, barely allowing Semantic to edge out in the interaction.
Stalemate at the moment. Humble is threatening to up the tempo. They have Boss in speed mode, and he's also fighting to keep this ranged fight alive. Ooh, taken down by some deadly shots from Ope, who has the super. Pass over to Yoshi, hypercharge style. It's enough damage reduction to get him up to the goal for a 2-pointer.
2-pointer on the board. They just need a 3-pointer more to close this one out. 2 more. And SK's strategy of, just try to win one of the lanes and then barely with enough HP going. Now Boss has got the hypercharge though, just, toggling between those two modes, providing as much utility to the team, but it's not connecting there. And instead though, Noe's nuke is zoning the entire way of Humble away from that ball. All of SK, they're just cycling abilities low, and great snipe there from Ope to secure this position.
Ope moving in and seemingly auto-aiming some of those shots. They missed Luki. You never want to be auto-aiming as Maisie. I know that wasn't him manually aiming. We'll see Naui now trying to defend this void in the offense left by his fallen teammate. Ope gets to pick up the pieces here, and Yoshi is going to corner that ball. I feel like if you play for the organization called SK Gaming, it is somehow part of your contract that you must corner the ball in any mode with a cornerable ball. 3 seconds to go. This thing isn't going anywhere, and SK Gaming is just one away from bringing us to set 5.
I gotta say, I wanted to be really excited about the set 5 that we're gonna be going into, but then I realized, thanks to SK and Humble, we've already seen all the new modes. So,
This is just boring old hot zone. Ugh, who cares?
Okay, at least the tiebreaker map's parallel play.
That's true.
So it's
That's true. It's a good one.
Interesting to see how these master strategists approach that in the new meta. But coming back to this set, it's not over yet, right? We're making it sound like SK, you know, I'm gonna run away with this one. I don't understand Humble's positioning, to be honest. Like, Semantic seems like he's desperately trying to just bank onto these, you know, corners of the map, and then he's praying that his team survives the onslaught that is SK so that they can pass the ball to him, and then he can get a cheeky goal. I don't know. The positioning feels a little bit off.
Yeah, as well, and he's caught out once again, trying to round the corner, get away from Ope, and basically had his pants down over there, just in the wrong place at the wrong time. He's going to once more try and push forward, and boom, just becomes cannon fodder. But it does create a little bit of momentum for his teammates, who then die, but it's okay, because Boss is still alive to hold the line. Where is Semantic going is really the biggest question that I have. It doesn't seem like he has any good matchups here. The Ashe was pretty ambitious. I think he's hoping to get some additional speed and damage, but he finds himself just hit with Jawbreaker after Jawbreaker, a team wipe, and could this be the chance to get a 3-pointer? Nope, Ope says 2 is fine for me. Actually, 0 is fine for me. Go in! Oh! And it only barely made it. Almost undeserved, I gotta say.
Triple super there from Ope, definitely, you know, was the star for me there. Now Noe's going to be throwing out the nuke inside the mid. Boss with the hypercharge, wants to go for a 3-pointer. No, he's denied that. Semantic finally gets to offend forward. They pass the ball over the Boss, saying, Boss, please, Boss, please. Is it going to go in? There's the 3-pointer there. That actually puts Humble in the lead.
Yeah, that's the tech they needed. Now they're only 1 score away, whether 3-pointer or not, from taking this to a match point, possibly preventing us from even exploring the undiscovered map. Parallel plays super up to the sky, just keep it away. Yoshi looks for the big stun. Nope, Semantic has that respawn shield, and Yoshi is being pressured all the way back, but the ball still rests in the back left corner. Humble know that if they just play defense and they keep this ball out of SK Gaming's clutches, then they will win this game. Only 10 seconds to go, and the clock ticks down.
Let SK eat their own medicine. You can corner the ball. You think you invented it? Well, guess what? It's a common tactic now.
Whoa.
Okay, 3-pointer. Oh my god. Okay, that could have been a buzzer beater, quite literally.
It could have been.
It could have been, right? It so could have been. If that was a 3-point shot, that would have come in. I love the fact that you and I have the same anticipation and trepidation. We're holding the ball. Where I was like, wait, no, and then nah.
Okay, but I think if the ball's in the air, then the match should keep going until it settles. Just like Brawl Ball, just like Brawl Hockey, it needs to keep bouncing till the match is over. We need buzzer beaters. There are no buzzer beaters in basketball just yet. And where do you think the term buzzer beater comes from? That's right, basketball. So do the right thing, Brawl Stars.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right, Supercell. You're hearing our wishes, right? Add that now into Basket Brawl. SK should have won that one. SK were robbed. Nah, I think they're gonna get this one. I mean, look at their positioning. I mean, Ope and Yoshi just corralling Semantic. There's just no space for him. No, he's winning the matchup there against Luki. Ope going for the 3-pointer alley-oop, and it goes in.
Humble now in a deadly position. They're so far behind. 1 score is all it'll take for SK Gaming, and look at the utility they're working with. Yoshi for the big stun on Luki. Even Semantic was rooted to the ground. He's being pummeled to death. Ope's ready with his hypercharge now. No additional damage from the hypercharge, but it's cool because he's still got to kill Semantic, this annoying parasite on the back right. Basically, a pest will finally be exterminated. And Naui is able to get a kill on Luki, but where's that ball? Needs to be cleared on the zone. It finds itself going right towards Semantic. If Yoshi had passed that towards Ope instead, they would have won the game right there.
Yeah, that's gotta feel bad. But okay. They still at least are 3-0 at the moment, and it's Humble that are the ones that have to come back. You see the super pass there from Boss, and Womp. I mean, it's not Brawl Ball. It doesn't cross half the map, so it wasn't even enough to reach the team. But that's it. With the supers at the moment, okay. Yoshi now. Okay, never mind. Semantics just flattening everyone. Oh, no. Not enough from Symantec. SK Gaming, thank you very much for bringing us to a 5th and final set of the preseason icebreaker on... What map is it, ready?
We're going to parallel plays, bro. Just boring old hot zone that you've seen before. The preseason icebreaker features 4 modes that are played already. Just kidding. It's going to be exciting. Parallel plays, come on! How often do you get to see this one played on hot zone? Let's get some replays up because there are some serious highlights from that last one. Oh my gosh, the ball bounced so many times before it went in here. And that was only for 2 points. It goes to show how important and exciting even the less significant moments were. That was Boss also getting a 3-pointer with just an ordinary throw. And this was another, like... Buzzer beater, come on! Where is it, man?
Realistically, probably wouldn't have gone in looking at the way it bounced. Okay,
but I wanted to see it not go in.
That's true. You're right. You know what, Reddy? You're absolutely right. You know what you should go? You should go and work for Supercell. Get in there and tell the
they should hire
engineers
me.
To change it right now. Yeah, they should hire you. Totally should hire
I'm going to march right in, and I'm going to ask for the job. I'm going to put on my best suit. This used to work in the 60s, and it's only been 60 years, so it probably still works.
Oh, man. Yep. Post-map stats. Do we really have anything to analyze here, honestly, aside from Ope's ginormous amount of damage? Like, SK have doubled the damage.
Well, look at Semantic's healing, and look at Luki's healing.
Yeah, they were sponges that game for sure.
Yes, they were feeding supers like there was no tomorrow. Like SK Gaming were starving to death, and they were concerned that they wouldn't have enough supers. You know, I could in a future edition put up a number of supers used stat, and here I think it would be a terrifying number for Maisie.
Yeah, Ope, I mean, chat said the same thing, and I have to fully well agree. There's only a few players in the world that I think have the guts to bring out Maisie in the professional scene. Ope is one of them. Like, he has so much self-confidence, and if you guys, not plugging Supercell, but go watch the documentary that just came out, and you can see Ope and the type of character he is. Like, we love the guy. Like, he's just such a character and so confident, brings so much in SK. Now, confidence, is that what they need here? Because SK, mind you guys, let's bring it back to earth. They're about to potentially reverse sweep Humble. Is that really happening?
Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. I mean, what are you asking me for, man? I'm not an oracle. I can't see into the future, bro, but I can't see the present. You know what the present's telling me? It's telling me that Humble apparently are traumatized by that random BS Assassins Only Day because they're getting rid of Mortis, Kenji, and Lily. No funny business over here. Also, just like give themselves a free Juju pick. Such a troublesome brawler over here. A bunch of different modes that she can attack in. She can slow you, attack at long range, attack with bonus damage. It looks wonderful for a Juju map. So now SK Gaming, they have numerous ways of responding to this. In fact, they even have a last pick that can't be countered except in advance by Humble. So there are weaknesses to the Juju, but Humble felt confident enough in it to go first.
That said, though, there are still plenty of Juju. I mean, Assassins Only revealed that there's a lot of assassins in the game, so I don't think SK are going to be hard-pressed to find a solution to this one. That said, though, Juju is a fantastic thrower to have in parallel plays. We already, I think, saw this. I do believe it was a Juju plus an RT at the time that was the setup. SK, though, they're leaning back. They're digging in deep. They're going to be going in for the Stu Frank setup here. Stu for the mid, great brawler. And if they takes that break gadget to just sort of mess up with the Juju's walls, that's a fun, fantastic resource to have. And the Buffy Frank, who could forget? So far, it's just slipped through the pool entirely all the time.
The response to Stu and Frank, what are we looking at? Some kind of anti-tank. And acknowledge the global bans as well. It's just some solid options that have been gone for the entire match and would have actually been running the meta if they were not globally banned, which I think is an indication that the global bans are working, but of course, share your thoughts with us in the chat because we're eager to hear your opinions. Max over here on Parallel Plays, it's going to be the mid brawler. Hopefully allows Humble to keep tempo with the ever-shifting positions of SK Gaming. They have Frank, who, while not like a super speedy brawler, does have a ticket to ride anywhere he likes because he can survive until he gets there. Stu, different situation, you know, far less health, but has the ability to boost himself anywhere he likes. Now, this is curious, though. Seeing Anita come out so early, what are they planning, Spoo?
I just had like a core memory emerge in my brain, and it's not a good one because this was a Revenant X Spark Brawl Ball comp. Literally copy pasted with the Nita and stuff, and I think they won against Nova with it, but that's not Nova that they're playing. It's SK Gaming, and it's a very different comp, and we might be looking at a reverse sweep. I have to say, the Juju looks like a big weakness that can be exploited here, and Humble are going to be really reliant on the summons to get the damage in. Now, the problem with Parallel Plays is that it's a pretty fast hot zone map, right? It doesn't allow you to cycle that many supers because when there's 2 zones, you effectively half the time that it takes to end the match because the zones are split among 2. So Humble have to stall really hard on defense, get a bunch of hypercharges online, and maybe they can get a push against SK, but I'm feeling SK a little bit better here.
Let's see if your prediction comes true. If so, it'll be a reverse sweep for SK Gaming. After a nutty run through this top 4 bracket, Humble found themselves at the cusp of victory after only 2 sets, one of those modes not even being their own choice. Now they find themselves in a position where they have to win a mode that wasn't their choice, and it wasn't SK's choice either. Does it put them on level footing? A mystery. It will only be solved after the completion of this set. Humble, they're ahead so far. They do have their home zone prioritized, and SK Gaming are sort of playing catch-up at the moment. Look at how this terrain has been destroyed. Boss left with only a fragment of a pipe to hide behind to take shelter from Ope.
Tried for a big tailspin there. Flying Hood goes in there inside the back, but at the moment it's SK that have managed to penetrate this zone for the moment. Yes, the home zone hasn't fully been restored there, but in Parallel it's all about taking over the enemy zone first so that you can just, you know, easily just get back to your own zone and take it. That's just one of the major tactical themes of the match. This Grieger is going to be really annoying for Noe, though. Going to be bringing him so low, and Symantec is split up, trying to just run him down here. Going to be able to bring this one down here. Pops the second Grieger to deal with Yoshi next, and it's just Ope left against the wall, but SK are firmly in the lead here.
Actually really well done and great value from Symantec with that Grigri. It's like you said, Spoo, it's going to be heavily reliant on the summons, and Symantec wasn't able to get very far into summoning his next one following that move, so that's going to be one of the weaknesses of Humble at the moment. It's also difficult for him to push in. The reload speed that he possesses is not really enough to get Frank down quickly. He's not much of a burst damage brawler. Boss is going to have to help in that department, dealing damage with the bear and wasting Nowie's efforts on it. Here comes the bear, hypercharge style, coming around the top side, and a stun onto Frank paves the way for Symantec to be just one shot, I believe, off of a super. It's just an absolute massacre. Meanwhile, a total priority for Humble is to play defense. They've got it. Now they about face and go right back to the offensive.
That was a masterclass from Humble, just how to attack simultaneously and defend at the same time. But they're going to leave Symantec here in the top right-hand corner. SK's got a final push here, mounting up here. If they can get control of this zone, they can outpace Humble. It's just Boss to defend against the wall. Oh my god, it's going to be close, and it's not going to be enough. Just 3% differential from both. You can see that Humble, they've abandoned the offense. They know that the home zone has been broken wide open. I think that was almost like an insane comeback from Humble, but SK at the very end managed to get the touchdown.
Wow, okay. It's just one away. Reverse sweep, only one game away. If SK can do it. I gotta say, that was a worthy potential comeback from Humble. So I wouldn't put it past them to do something similar in the next one. They found out how to beat the composition from SK, but they are going to be without those abilities that they worked so hard to earn towards the end of the game. They're only behind by a couple of percent. Everything collapsed on the home zone in that 3v2 where SK Gaming had the advantage. It's a flying hook away from Yoshi. He needed to stay alive. It's fine, but he doesn't have that anymore to deal with Semantic specifically.
Big tactical shift here from Humble to put Semantic on that right lane instead. They're not opting to go triple defense and then play, patient and calm parallel plays. No, they want to go on the offense. Semantic knows that the win condition is the green. That's exactly what he's trying to do. He's farmed up the first one, but it's really the hypercharge one that you got to look out for. And with Noe missing that, irresistible attraction gadget there, that's going to give an opening there for Semantic to eat in slowly. That's it.
Here comes the flying hook. Semantic is a dead man, and so is Gregory. Unfortunate. And they needed that to do so much value. It's 2v3 in SK Gaming. These barbarians storming the gates actually turn around in retreat. Not a single percentage to show for their efforts, but they have bruised Humble just enough to get a slight advantage. Luki only needed one little projectile to hit Yoshi and send him packing, but he's going to be denied that possibility. Semantic also just barely out of range of taking down Yoshi. And look at the abilities here. Boss has that bear to shove things back. You have Luki also ready to get people hypercharges. Boss has got to be close to his, maybe only one shot away with the way he's playing right now. And yes, it was only one.
2 shots going to be flying out there. Noe is the last man from SK, going to be just solo diving the point there. Boss is going to be able to cycle. Second super play just goes down to a stray shot. Now Semantic going to be going in with a hypercharge of his own. Yoshi kind of overshots the flying hook there. Still manages to circle back onto Semantic, but their base has been cracked open. Boss has desperately run into Noe there just to get the kill. Barely going to get this one done, but it's a 16% lead and only 49 seconds left on the side of Humble for them to start getting zone of their own.
Pretty hasty on spawning that bear there. It's easy for Yoshi to slice right through it. Here comes Semantic once again being chased down by Yoshi. Such a rough brawler to be playing in this matchup versus Carl. You see on the left side, Ope dashing forward. He at least has the bear and he's going to use that to pinch. Even has the stun, but Ope actually dashes away. Rejoins forces with Naui. We're looking at only 20 seconds on the clock and a 10% advantage that keeps on growing for SK Gaming.
SK Gaming about to pull off the first potential reverse sweep of the tournament so far. 82% and counting, 10 seconds left. And I think Humble know, based on the mechanics, based on telegraphing, it's not history that we're writing here. It's the beginning of the year. And SK are going to start it off this rivalry that has spanned 3 years now with a victory and a reverse sweep. SK Gaming going to be taking the preseason icebreaker in EMEA as your champion.
Congratulations, SK Gaming. What a journey to make it here. Imagine doing that with a reverse sweep. We have one replay that I want to go through, actually, before we take a look at the stats. Check this out from Semantic, and you saw just how rough this was for SK, and that was not even a matchup that they won. I want to point out also that Semantic did get star player on the losing team. Not to downplay SK Gaming's victory here, but it was not an easy comeback for them.
Amazing stuff there from SK. Really, really solid gameplay in the last 3 sets to just bring this one back. And, on an unfamiliar mode, I've got to add here, Humble, they go with the Zoo Comp. I like to call it the Zoo Comp just because of the amount of stuff that you can throw. But I guess Zoo Comp don't really beat sort of the new age, Buffy brawlers. That Frank just soaked up 3 things hitting him. He went down in the end, but nonetheless, and what? This is beautiful. Just look at
that!
Guys.
A red line all the way to the trophy. That is basically what happened, and it was not made easy. Think of all the match points that they faced along the way. In set 3 and set 4, and they pulled the rug out from under Humble in set 5 with a 2-0. Cinema right there. I can't believe what we just witnessed.
Well, I mean, as reverse sweeps go, we've got one for East Asia now, and we've got one for EMEA. I mean, both regions have kicked it off. There's a terminology for it. The first reverse sweep of the year for the region is a big deal. And just revisiting the bracket, let's just see how this went down here. Well, guess what, guys? Humble 3-2 against Heretics and SK 3-1 against Totem in the grand finals that you just witnessed. It was a 3-2 reverse sweep there, executed brilliantly by SK Gaming.
And Humble, I got to give him credit because I, of course, have to shout out Semantic for being so vocal in chat and engaging with the stream, being such a good vibe as well. I think he knows that he always plays better when he's in a good mood. So this is his way of being competitive. But I want to say, once again, congratulations to SK Gaming, and a great effort to everyone else who played here. Team Heretics, they nearly made it through to the grand finals. Reply Totem, also a formidable effort from them. And such a story that shapes up how this year is going to look. You have familiar friends rejoining teams, super teams being formed, people sticking together year after year, and new prospects being elevated to play with some of the most established players in all of EMEA. It is going to be an exciting year of Brawl Stars in EMEA, and the preseason icebreaker is evidence of that.
We reached the halfway mark there for the preseason icebreaker, and yeah, indeed, this is a way to break the ice for the year. We're not just jumping into some serious, tournament immediately. We're taking the chance to just connect with the community, connect with the players, find out what is it. How do we find the next potential World Finals map? Now, the rulebook's already out, guys, so you guys should know that, these maps aren't immediately going into the VSC. So stop panicking. We're not immediately shipping it as it is. Yeah, some of these might be ready, some of them are not. We really want to hear your thoughts. So go ham, wherever you want it on Twitter, inside the chat, wherever you see this, inside the comment section when this is inevitably is a VOD. Let us know your feedback. We really want to hear it. And from the players as well. They're going to be getting a way to give us feedback directly, and we're going to take that very, very seriously when we return that Ultra Supercell.
Folks, Spoo signed us off so well. I hope you're excited to catch more of the action tomorrow in South America and North America. It's going to be North America starting at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, and you can do the conversion for yourself. It's also posted basically everywhere, so it shouldn't be too hard for you to figure out for yourself. We hope to see you guys there. This has been the pre-season icebreaker in EMEA. We hope to see you tomorrow. See y'all.